blanketed with a rolling green landscape and dotted with lakes and state parks. Known simply as the Irish Hills, this is nature at its best. This weekend, the best in NASCAR are in town. Who is feeling lucky today? Can a rookie actually win the title, or a driver who is hungry? Speaking of hunger, he has come back to the series hungrier than ever. This guy wants respect. Has a baton been passed to a new generation? Young drivers showing up the veterans in the Truck Series this year. With a state park sharing its border, it's only natural that this track offers a park-like setting. Real estate in this area highly sought after. 2 miles of asphalt, the only real estate drivers are interested in today. The setup, presented by Polaris, has set up camp in your living room. Hello everyone, I'm Krista Voda. Welcome to the setup. Sprint Cup practice literally just wrapping up. We have jumped over the wall. We are ready to get you set up as the Truck Series is ready to race. Almirola versus Busch, Bodine, Benson, and Darnell. Some of the best finishes have happened in the Truck Series, and they have happened right here. And with the names in the field today, we expect another doozy. Our last race had 3 big names: Mark Martin, Kevin Harvick, and Kyle Busch. Well, guess what? They are all 3 back. But in our last race, we needed an extra day to get things completed. Here's a look back at Pocono.
You know, the Walmart recipe for success might be having a good weather forecaster in your pit.
The field all in line between 2 Cup veterans. Green flag flies. We're underway at Pocono.
Oh, we got in trouble.
Contact. Jason White sliding.
Mark Martin didn't get going, and when he didn't, it bunched everyone up, and you see Jason look like he was in a real bind.
Mark has told Doug Joyce the shifter inside of this truck will not allow him to hit 4th gear.
And the caution is coming out now. NASCAR is throwing the yellow flag for rain. The trucks are being stopped, and they're going to be covered on pit road. Green flag back in the air. Sunday truck racing. Kevin Harvick out in front of this field, but there could be some concerns, Ray.
His biggest concern is about Kyle Busch and Mark Martin and the fact that they have come to pit road to get fuel and that the 2 truck did not.
Caution's out. Caution's out for debris.
The guys that have to pit, this is their opportunity. The guys that were going to try to stretch it, this is going to save them a little bit of fuel.
Kevin Harvick stays out, as does James Buescher. So we'll find out. Do they have enough fuel?
Kevin Harvick came down the front straightaway and his engine was not running. I said, what happened? I looked over and Bruce just smiled. Harvick is shutting the truck off at the end of the front straightaway to try to save that little extra gas.
Contact. Todd Bodine slides coming out of turn number 3. We will have a green-white checker finish.
Oh, this is going to get good.
Oh, wow. We're going to have a restart with Kevin Harvick and Kyle Busch side by side.
Kevin Harvick hoping he has enough fuel to go 2 more laps here at Pocono.
He's conserved the whole time we've been out there, and I think he's done a really good job of conserving a lot for me. We're just going to find out right now how much.
Harvick has a big lead. 3 trucks between he and 2nd place Kyle Busch. A big lead coming out of turn number 3. Can he make it to the start-finish line? Does he have enough fuel? Yes, Kevin Harvick will win at Pocono.
Yeah, boys, that's fast whipping right there. A great weekend, Harvick. Good job. Good job, boys. Awesome.
Well, championships are not won on a good day. They are won when a team rallies around a bad day. For Johnny Sauter, who went into Pocono as the points leader, it was actually a bad weekend.
Johnny Sauter into the wall. The 13 slams the wall. This is our championship leader. That is not a mistake you can make as your championship leader and win a championship.
The ThorSport Racing team will have to go to a backup.
I have all the confidence in the world we can get where we need to be. Just want to thank everybody. You know what I mean? Driver made a mistake, and that's just the way it is. And we'll rally as a team and hopefully pull through this.
They have to make another significant adjustment.
They had great amounts of cording on the right front tire. So they did put some rounds in it, but now what they need to do is actually change the camber shim, which will change the alignment of the right front tire.
See Matt Craft and his teammate Johnny Sauter. They're making their way toward the top 10.
Good comeback by Johnny Sauter, Joe Shear's bunch.
If Johnny Sauter eventually wins the championship in 2011, they will look back on this race and say that was an effort that may have paid the dividends.
Great team effort by that whole Thor Sports group.
So this is new since we left you in Pocono after scrambling to get that backup truck on the track and turning in a finish one position ahead of his closest challenger. The truck failed inspection. Johnny Sauter went into the race 4 points ahead of Dillon, but with a 6-point penalty, that lead is now gone. So let's take a look at our forward point standings. Johnny Sauter, there you see, now trails Dillon by a point. 6th through 9th, extremely tight, but nothing compares to this championship battle. Right, Ray Dunlap?
Absolutely, Krista. And earlier this week, the ThorSport team went to Cedar Point and rode some roller coasters. Johnny, that's been like a roller coaster for this team the last few races. But I said in that piece that Pocono could be a race you guys really remember for the incredible effort that the team got you to get that finish. Talk about your thoughts coming in here to Michigan.
Yeah, I mean, Pocono was obviously a big team effort, not only from the 13 camp, but the 88 camp, everybody at ECR. You know, I've said it 1,000 times, but there was a bunch of people working on that truck to get it back out on the racetrack, and to finish 4th was a great day. But come here to Michigan, and we've been fast throughout practice and everything, and you know, we just didn't qualify as well as we wanted to. So Safe Auto U-Code at Chevrolet is I think it's got speed. We're a little bit miffed at why we didn't qualify any better than that. So we might have to work on it a little bit here early on and see if we can get it back. And I think I just got a little too loose. So nonetheless, it's a fun racetrack, and we'll go out there and give it all we got.
Okay, I have a feeling these guys will work their way forward in a hurry from 14th. Hermie?
Well, Ray, Austin Dillon, when the checker flag flew at Pocono, you didn't think you were the point leader. You show up here as the point leader, but you and Johnny Sauter got a heck of a battle going on. How much do you focus today on your truck, and how much do you keep an eye on what Johnny Sauter's doing?
You really got to focus on your truck because there's a lot of other great trucks out there this year, and the points battle is so close. It's not just Johnny, it's James, and there's a few other ones right there close. So just got to focus on getting to the front, and the points will follow. So I think we got a good truck. We just have to adjust on it all day. The clouds are kind of moving in, so I think the person who's got their truck kind of a little bit, I don't know if it's going to be grippy or I don't know. We haven't seen the clouds since we've been here, so we'll just have to see how it goes.
And that's one curveball Krista voted that these teams got to adjust to. The weather moving in could play a factor.
Absolutely. You know, Austin Dillon comes off to me as sort of a modern-day cowboy carrying a bit of swagger this season. Coming up, the organization trying to knock Dillon from the top spot with a double punch has a new secret weapon, a state-of-the-art facility. We were there when the doors opened. Plus, another championship contender lurking in the shadows. Why this guy just might be the best driver who hasn't been to victory lane. And every season, as Ray mentioned, has its share of ups and downs. We tag along, but it wasn't fun for everybody. Stay tuned. The setup is presented by Polaris, the hardest working, smoothest riding off-road vehicles, now at your local dealer. Brought to you in part by Camping World RV Sales, the best selection and best values on travel trailers guaranteed. And by Magnavox, engineered in Japan by Funai, available at Target. Michigan is slowly becoming known for having one of the crazier infields in racing. Some say it even rivals Talladega. Fans come from all over to camp. Perfect for the Camping World Truck Series. A lot of Big Ten fans. There's some Michigan State Spartan fans. I'm sure they would love to beat Ray's Ohio State Buckeyes. We knew the Wolverines were here too. Welcome back to the setup from Michigan. ThorSport, which Johnny Sauter, Matt Crafton, and Dakota Armstrong drive for. Well, they're based in nearby Sandusky, Ohio. The race team and all the fans and residents of that city have been waiting for what happened this week. The grand opening of what we think is the best race shop in the series.
This new race shop is a culmination of 16 years of hard work and dedication, and we now have a great facility to match a championship caliber race team, championship caliber drivers, and a championship caliber crew.
I think it makes a huge statement to where ThorSport is and where ThorSport's going. I've only been around here for 3 years of it, and the progression that I've seen, not only with the performance on the racetrack, but just, you know, the shop and everything. I mean, obviously I'm proud to be a part of it, but just a huge commitment from Duke and Rhonda, and I think everybody's proud of the facility, and I think it's only going to help us.
The old shop was rather dark and just a little dirty and wasn't the best work environment. Didn't have air conditioning, didn't have heat. We did a lot of things there, though, so we're very, very proud of our roots. But coming into this facility, just absolutely beautiful, immaculate lighting. It's just made working a much better environment for the guys. Much happier to be in.
All right, you want both of them signed? All right, I can do it all for you.
It's absolutely unbelievable, the crowd. When we opened the doors at noon, it was probably 500 to 1,000 at that point waiting in line to get into this place. So we were letting groups of 15 through at a time, then it went groups of 30, and now I think it's groups like 50. It's unbelievable, the dedication and seeing how many people support this race team.
You know, we built this, and one of the nicest things about it is a lot of us are not from here. So we've embraced the community, and it's really shown today that they're embracing us, and then that's pretty special.
23 different drivers have worn the ThorSport name, along with Sauter and Crafton. Terry Cook has also given the team a win. Not only do they have a state-of-the-art facility, they have facilitated more races with at least one truck entered than any other team. You know, Sandusky, Ohio is also known for Cedar Point, one of the best amusement parks in the country. In fact, it's the only amusement park with 4 roller coasters taller than 200 feet. Not everyone was excited about that. You know, with our schedule, it's sort of hard to get out and check things out, but that's exactly what some of the ThorSport drivers got to do. Take a look at this. Matt Crafton, Johnny Sauter, and Dakota Armstrong, they got away from the shop's grand opening to have a meet and greet with fans at the park. They even signed some autographs. Now, Crafton and Armstrong, they were ready for the coaster. In fact, they had been talking it up all day.
The only difference between me and you guys is I'm not afraid to admit that I'm scared. I don't succumb to peer pressure. You got to stand firm in what you think. I've succumbed to peer pressure. Oh, man, I don't like this. I'm not looking. No, damn it. I ain't looking. I cannot believe I'm doing this. Oh, Johnny, no! No! Get off of me! Ah! Oh! How long is it? It's still going. That was a good ride.
You like it?
Yeah.
Do you have your eyes open?
No.
That was my favorite part of the whole day, just watching Johnny ride one roller coaster we got him on, and he had his eyes shut.
Roller coasters aren't my thing typically, but like they said, they got me on one, and had a good time.
And I have to tell you, I had an opportunity to go along for the ride there at Cedar Point. It's an incredible amusement park. Been about 25 years since I've been there, and an incredible amount of changes they've had there. Top Thrill Dragster, certainly at the very top of my list. That was a great ride. Took me 2 or 3 times before I was ready to open my eyes, but we did happen to secure a pretty cool photo. I want to take you a look at this. Check out, Crafton is on the left, and you see Matt? He's all excited, got his eyes ready to go. And look over on the right. Boy, I'm not sure Johnny Sauter was even in the game there. Matt, did you get a look at this shot? I mean, how about your teammate there? I don't think he was too excited about being on a roller coaster.
No, he was definitely very, very scared. That was funny. But I looked over at him whenever he's doing that the whole time, and he grabbed actually his eyelids, was trying to peel his eyelids open a few times, and he was screaming.
You guys go 180 miles an hour, and he was afraid of the Maverick.
Exactly, afraid of a roller coaster. I don't get it, but I think we got a really good Menard Chevy today, and hopefully everybody liked that race shop, and anybody else who wants to come out and check that place out. I mean, it's an awesome place. I mean, the really cool thing about the whole thing is you can go buy every part and piece, go build your own race shop from Menards. Same place that we bought everything to build that building.
Nice sponsor plug. Matt Crafton on the pole here at Michigan. He'll lead them to the green. Hermie?
Well, Parker Kligerman, from the looks of that piece, if you ever want to get in the head of Johnny Sauter, get him on a roller coaster. You got it made.
It might be the same for me. I'm not a big fan of roller coasters either, but that looked like a fun piece for those guys. Back to us, I guess we got a new sponsor this week, Cooper Standard. Really excited about this, bring them into the sport. They're a Novi, Michigan company, headquartered over there. Brad and I went there and did a Employee Appreciation Day on Thursday. They are just great people, really fun to work with. And so we're just proud to bring them on here. Want the fans to kind of help us support them. Go follow them on Twitter at Cooper Standard. You can follow me at P. Kligerman. But, you know, we're just excited about our Ram also. We've been fast off the truck, man. I mean, we were second. We went up to first and fell to second in the first practice. And, I mean, that's new for us to be fast so quickly. And then in the second practice, we just had a great race pace. Thought we'd qualify a little better, end up 5th, but it's flat to the floor. So I'm not sure what I could have done different. I told the guys, great job. And they were kind of beating themselves up. And I said, hey, man, this is like Daytona qualifying. I mean, we'll get in the race and we'll make it happen. So just excited to get in the race. I think we have a great truck, and hopefully we can get up there and stay in the top 5 and maybe increase it to be better and get that first spot.
Well, a lot of incentive to win here for the manufacturers, but also his car owner, Bet Keselowski, a Michigan native as well. Be a big-time win for these guys if they can get it done. Krista?
Yeah, Hermie, and it's just so hard to pick a winner. I mean, all of these guys we're hearing from are literally contenders. You know, we talked about Johnny Sauter. His Pocono weekend, like we've documented, probably felt like a roller coaster ride. Rick Allen, Phil Parsons, and Michael Waltrip are upstairs in the broadcast booth. And guys, I don't know, 3 months from now, we may be looking back at that weekend that either made or gave away a championship for Sauter.
I thought you were going to say it's always a roller coaster ride when you come up to us. Hey, I tell you what, one thing that has been amazing so far, normally when we show up at a racetrack, somebody stands out. Someone looks like they are going to be the dominant truck at a race. We haven't seen that yet this weekend.
Well, it was really simple this weekend. We got here. We knew Kyle Busch was going to be here, Kevin Harvick, and throw Mark Martin in there, right?
Sure.
So we knew those 3 guys were going to be up in the top 5. Well, not so much.
Right.
Only one of those guys ended up in the top 5, and Kyle Busch is all the way back in 13th. This is such a competitive field here, but qualifying, Michael, and racing are 2 different things.
Yeah, but I love this. We come to the race, and everybody says to me all the time, oh, great, Kevin and Kyle are both there. We know one of them's going to win. Well, stay tuned. That's not the case this weekend. The Cup boys are in trouble. The truckers have them covered. The fastest truck in qualifying was Matt Crafton, and the fastest truck in practice was Johnny Sauter. He had the best truck on the long run, so it's going to be a very competitive match today. I can't wait to see it, how it unfolds.
Yeah, ThorSport has the new digs back there in Sandusky, Ohio, and their 2 drivers look pretty strong here, Krista.
And I can sense your excitement upstairs. Hey, last year's winner, Eric Almirola, won this race in the 51. Today, that guy, Colin Brown, is driving that number. Brown, a former winner in the series at this track, and he's back. That is big for more reasons than one. You will hear a lot more about that coming up here on the setup as the trucks get ready to rock it out near Motown. The setup is presented by Polaris, the hardest working, smoothest riding off-road vehicles, now at your local dealer. And brought to you in part by Magnavox, engineered in Japan by Funai, available at Target.
The first lap at Daytona, led by James Buescher in the 31. James Buescher dying for a win. He's been so close so many times and yet not been able to close the deal.
A bunch of second places for James Buescher. He's getting close, no question about it.
He was so close so many times in qualifying at different racetracks and finally gets his first career pole here at Texas Motor Speedway.
He's definitely one of those guys close to that first win. James Buescher is knocking on the door of a championship, but early this season, another door was slammed shut. The door marked Phoenix. 3 little letters seemingly knocked him out of the title fight. It's racing's equivalent of a TKO, a DNQ.
Out of turn 4, James Buescher, will he race tonight? It is not decided yet. So James Buescher at 27.709 on the bubble as to if he will race tonight or not.
You just never know. Wow.
Across the stripe, Hornaday 6 quick. That means that James Buescher will not race tonight.
James Buescher not making this race is a shock.
Just a total shock to the whole organization not to make that race.
Our whole team, myself, Carmichael, Brad Sweet, we were all just off. We missed it completely. Not being locked in, not running all the races last year puts you in a situation where you could miss the race, and we missed it by just a little bit. And I actually outqualified one of my teammates, and they were in the race, and I wasn't.
Mr. Turner felt like if you're going to win the championship, you need to do it the right way. I mean, we had 2 more teams there that we could have pulled a guy, but that wasn't the deal he had with those guys. They were told they were going to race, so he let them race, so I was behind him 100%.
We know we're better than that. We've showed it all last year. We showed it at Daytona. So far this year, I mean, we started out with an up and down year, and once we came into Nashville earlier this year, we turned our season around, and we haven't finished outside the top 10 since. So we got back after it, and we fought hard to get back in the top 5 in points, and right now we're solidly in the top 5, and we're a contender again. Right now, I feel like we could be better. We unload bad. That's not really what we need to be doing. We need to be in the top 10 when we unload for the first practice.
Take Iowa, for example. We unloaded there, and that's the worst we've unloaded probably in the 2 years we've been doing this.
We unloaded around 20th, and all the guys were sweating as much as I was in practice, and just digging in and making changes.
We were able to rebound from being almost a second off in the first practice to qualify in third. So that just says a lot for your team.
I think for us, we just have to keep doing what we've been doing, turn our bad days into top 10s and make our good days top 3s and top 5s and get a win when we can. I feel like we're a team capable of winning, but we have to finish all the races and finish strongly to have a shot at this championship, especially having missed a race. And you know, we've got to overcome that and fight harder than the rest of them.
Well, James Busher, looking back at Phoenix, you know, missing that race, but what a steady climb it's been back for you guys, contending every week. Is today your day you get that victory and really put your stamp into this championship chase?
I'd like to think so. You know, our Exide Battery Chevy's fast again this weekend. It's been fast all year long. You know, we've had some really strong runs. We've had a lot of top 10s and really consistent finishes. So, you know, we've been close to winning the last couple of races. You know, Pocono Harvick was just really, really fast, but we had a good truck and had another good top 3 run. But, you know, this is a different truck. This is a truck we run at most of our intermediate races, and it's pretty good in traffic. So I think it should be pretty stable and able to work through traffic pretty good and be there at the end of the race. I don't think you'll see it checking out front. It's got a little bit more drag than some of these other guys, but should race good around other trucks and should be able to try to make something happen at the end.
What a turnaround it's been for this 31 team since Phoenix. They've kept their heads up, kept digging, and looking to get that victory here today at Michigan. Krista?
Yeah, misses Phoenix, crashes at Martinsville, top 10 every other race. Who else is on a hot streak? This guy, Joey Coulter, riding the momentum of 7 straight top 10s. Nelson Piquet also on the rise. He is 21 points out of the top 10. His qualifying has been really good all year. The last month, no finishes outside the top 15. Could Piquet or Coulter be the next first-time winner? We'll get you closer to the green flag next. Don't forget the trucks are in Bristol in 4 days. That's Wednesday. But tomorrow, if it happens in NASCAR, we talk about it on Speed. Race day, Speed Center, Victory Lane, Wind Tunnel, all right here Sunday. Well, Matt Crafton finished second in this race 2 years ago. He is on the pole. Todd Bodine was the runner-up last year. He starts alongside Crafton on row 1. 2 former Michigan bridesmaids wanting the ring all to themselves. But remember, we have a trio of Cup stars, Martin Harvick and Busch, trying to upend the regulars. The youth movement on the charge. It's fast, it's frantic, it's trucks. On Speed now.
Here in Detroit, blue collar is a way of life, a livelihood forged on the line, where nothing is gained but through hard work.
We survived then and prospered, and I think we will survive this as well.
Every shift, every spark, an honest day's pay for honest effort.
We know how much winning at this racetrack in the backyard of Detroit means.
When Motor City meets truck racing, it stands as a reflection, a way of life known wherever you take your seat.
There's bumps in the roads, but these teams, these fans are all going to see a race here today that are going to make them happy that they did so.
Those behind the wheel cast from the same die as those on the line. Pure Michigan is pure grit.
Camping World Truck Series about to unfold here.
Fan favorite, driver favorite.
They all work hard, but play even harder.
It's always an entertaining day when the tough trucks of NASCAR come to Michigan.
And at the end of a 200-mile shift, their fiery passion signals a job well done.
Hard work always pays off in the blue-collar series of NASCAR. Welcome to the Camping World Truck Series, BMW 200 on Speed. High speeds and passing lanes are synonymous with Michigan International Speedway. The unknown today is who will gamble at those high speeds and take the path less traveled to get to the front. Kyle, Kevin, and Mark are in the field as the yardstick the drivers will measure their skills against. You must beat the big three in the backyard of Motor City to get to Victory Lane. Our pre-race ceremonies today include the Canadian National Anthem, honoring our friends to the north. So let's get right to trackside and start with our pre-race ceremonies.
Race fans, at this time, would you please stand and remove your caps as the Michigan State Police Sergeant Mardella Horn sings a Canadian National Anthem.
Oh, Canada, a home and native once command. With glowing heart we see thee rise, the true north, strong and free. From far and wide, oh Canada, we stand on guard for thee. God, keep our land glorious and free. Oh Canada, we stand on guard for thee. Oh Canada, we stand on guard for thee.
Race fans, please remain standing as the Michigan State Police Color Guard presents our nation's colors. And now, with today's invocation, here's Father Jeff Rose from Lumen Christi High School in Jackson, Michigan.
Almighty God, we thank you for this day and allowing us to come to MIS and enjoy this VFW 200. And as we honor the veterans of foreign war, we ask that we all do so with not just word, but with our deed and very action. Keep our drivers and teams safe as they compete for us today. And we ask this all through Christ our Lord. Amen.
And now, once again, here's Sergeant Mardella Horn with our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight all the ramparts we watched was so gallantly streaming, and the rockets rang clear, the bombs bursting in air gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave? Oh, the land of the free and the home of the
Time for the drivers to climb into their trucks. They will be keeping a watchful eye on the sky as storms have started to move into the area here in Michigan. The NASCAR Camping World Truck Series on Speed is brought to you by Camping World RV Sales. The best selection and best values on travel trailers guaranteed. By Mobil 1, the world's leading synthetic motor oil. Put some NASCAR in your car with the One Mobil 1. By Magnavox, engineered in Japan by Funai, available at Target. And by Roundup brand, kills weeds to the root so they don't come back. And welcome back to Michigan International Speedway for today's storylines. Let's go back trackside to Chris Devoto.
Well, Rick, Kim Kardashian's family spent $20 million on her wedding today. We are giving you this truck race for free. Here are some reasons to watch. Our young guys up front. These five, none of them have won a Truck Series title, meaning we could have a new champion this year. In Michigan, you always hear about the big three. Well, besides the manufacturers, we have our own big three. For the second race in a row, Mark Martin, Kyle Busch, and Kevin Harvick are in the field. And speaking of manufacturers, it's so great to have a big Ford presence back in the Truck Series. Colin Brown back in this race. He won this race in 2009. He is back. He's driving the number 51 for Billy Ballou. There you see some video from his win here 2 years ago. And that team that he's driving for today, the 51 truck, won this race last year. Colin Brown, one of our former winners. Who else has won here at Michigan? Now, Rick, I'm going to just let our fans sweat this out because I think the answer, and it's not who you think, is coming up in our Speed Spotlight.
Yeah, he is one of our Speed Spotlight drivers. And first of all, we want to talk about the fact that favorites in this race might have an advantage in the sense that this track is very raceable. They can come from the back to the front.
It's 2 miles long, Rick. It's wide. You'd think these truckers, the best drivers in America, could figure out a way to find some space and run on their own. They're going to be 2 wide, they're going to be 3 wide, and at the finish, they're going to be really close, Phil.
Yeah, and this race oftentimes comes down to fuel mileage as well, because this is typically a caution-free or a few cautions in this race. Fuel mileage edge from the guys in the garage area may go to Chevrolet. So if we get a fuel mileage deal, look for the Chevrolets to stay on the racetrack.
And earlier today, a Chevrolet won the pole. Matt Crafton will bring the field to the green flag. Now let's fire the engines. Here's the command.
Race fans, it is time for the command. Please welcome back your Grand Marshal Ryan Murphy with the most famous words in motorsports.
Gentlemen, start your engine!
Crank it up. Fired up. Can we start saving from here or yellow? I'll just save all you can.
Real Roger
right
giving us the command there as the engines come to life. The drivers all strapped in. The crews are ready for 100 laps of racing. Welcome back to the VFW 200 from Michigan International Speedway. The weather was a non-issue, we thought, all weekend until about 2 hours ago. And the clouds have moved in. It's 80 degrees, but there is a chance of thunderstorms, and it could be coming soon. So there'll be a watchful eye to the sky by all the teams. Our starting grid will roll across the top of the screen. Matt Crafton grabs his 5th career pole, and it'll be Todd Bodine who will start on the outside of row number 1. We want to take a look at the particulars of this racetrack and this race with our race analysis and track description.
Michael, you said it, a wide racetrack. You see the corners are banked 18 degrees, the front straightaway 12 degrees. They will be racing with their left sides below the yellow line, to the right sides touching the outside wall.
Yes, into the outside wall. I can promise you, people will scrub it. That's how much grip there is up high, and these guys will search all over it. The race is 100 laps long, and Phil, it's so strange to me. Fuel window, 38 to 42 laps. Half of 100 is 50. How come it always comes down to a fuel mileage race? But you can promise these teams will figure out how to get on pit road in time to stretch every ounce of fuel right to the checkered.
I want to take a look at a few different drivers in this field. We're going to focus on former winners here today in our Speed Spotlight. We begin with Ray.
Well, Rick, I want to talk about Parker Kligerman. You know, when you look in the dictionary under "we've had a great run but didn't get the results," there would be a picture of this young man. He won here in the ARCA Racing Series at Michigan, but it's really the 2 second places that this team posted at Texas and Kentucky that brought the shine and the spotlight on the number 29. Well, today they debut Cooper Standard, a brand new company from Novi, Michigan. They specialize in fuel, brakes, and emissions for passenger cars. And this is the beginning, hopefully, of a long-term relationship with Brad Keselowski Racing. And Parker Kligerman says, where would it be better to get a win than right here in his sponsor's backyard? Hermie?
Well, Ray, a couple familiar names have teamed up to come back to a racetrack where they have both had success. Colin Brown won here in 2009 in a Roush Fenway Ford truck. Well, today he's back, and also Billy Balloon Motorsports is back with crew chief Richie Waters. Richie Waters has also won this race last year with Eric Almirola. They're back with a Ford, the only Ford in the field today. And one note, the new FR9 Ford engine that has so much success in the Sprint Cup Series and Nationwide Series is making its debut in the Camping World Truck Series in this truck. They have high hopes with a brand new truck, and we'll follow them today on Speed. Phil?
Let's take a look at 25-year-old Justin Laughlin from Westmoreland, California. He started his racing career racing downhill mountain bikes before transitioning to vehicles with motors. He ran the Colorado Hill Climb Association in 2003, won Rookie of the Year. 2004, he went to the Desert Buggy class. 3 wins and won the Rookie of the Year there. 2005 through 2007, he competed in the K&N West Series. He finished 6th in points in 2007, and then he joined Eddie Sharp Racing to run the ARCA Series. 2008, he won right here at Michigan, had 2 poles. In 2009, he put it all together with 6 wins, 5 poles, and won that ARCA championship with one of the closest battles we have ever seen over Parker Kligerman by 5 points. 2010, he moved over to the trucks. He had 4 top 5 finishes, 8 top 10s with Red Horse Racing. He switched to Germain Racing early this year, but then switched back to Eddie Sharp Racing, where he started his ARCA career, and he will start his collegecomplete.com Toyota from the 22nd spot, Mikey.
Let's look at Brendan Gaughan, this young man from Las Vegas, Nevada. You think Brendan knows how to go fast? Well, let me tell you what he did back in 2003. Brendan won the fastest truck race in series history. He averaged over 154 miles an hour and led 48 laps right here at Michigan on his way to victory lane. In 2004, he moved from trucks to cup. He spent the last couple of years in the Nationwide Series, but now he's back in trucks. He rolls off 23rd in the South Point Toyota.
Getting different pictures around this 2-mile racetrack. We'll also ride along with a few drivers, one of those being the number 9 of Max Pappas. He'll carry the Toyota camera on his onboard.
Great to see Ford back in this series here, and all three of these guys, Colin Brown, Billy Ballou, and Ford, back here with that 51 truck, and they will start this race from the 15th spot.
Johnny Sauter rolls off 14th. I love these pictures from inside the truck. You can see what all he's faced with there. He rolls 14th in the Safe Auto Curb Record Chevy.
Austin Dillon in the number 3 will carry the Funai camera, so we'll get a vantage point of how you work up through the top 10 to get to the front, riding along with Austin.
Parker Kligerman won the ARCA race here in 2009, and he will start that Dodge with a new sponsor on board, Cooper Standard, from the 5th spot.
Before the green flag flies, let's find out what the recipe for success is at Michigan International Speedway. We'll look at the Walmart recipe for success, starting with Ray.
Well, you know, Rick, on this racetrack, the drivers have all kinds of different lines. They'll be going high through the middle and to the bottom. But today I'm going to be watching the crew chiefs. You know, Rick Wren is the winningest crew chief in this Camping World Truck Series. But I want to focus on 2 other drivers. How about Mike Hillman Jr. and Richie Waters? Both of these guys are sitting on streaks of 7 consecutive years with victories. How about from 2004 all the way to 2010? Neither of them have won yet this year. Junior with 21 wins, Richie with 17, and I think that may be a crew chief call today that puts one of these guys right to the front. Hermie?
Well, Ray, every time we come to the racetrack here at Michigan, we talk about win on Sunday, sell on Monday. Well, I think win on Saturday, sell on Monday. You can't forget that either. The manufacturer representation here in the Camping World Truck Series is a big player in what people buy as far as when they buy trucks. You got to remember, people buy trucks, and all these manufacturers are heavy in the truck market as well. This is a very important race for these manufacturers to win here at Michigan. Not to mention, manufacturer support is vital to these teams in the Camping World Truck Series. A win today at Michigan would be huge in more ways than one.
Thanks, Hermie. The pace truck about to make the hard left turn onto the new pit road here at Michigan International Speedway. Matt Crafton, Todd Bodine making up row number 1. Coming out of 4. Green flag goes in the air. We're underway at Michigan.
That didn't take long.
To get 3 wide?
We talked 3, 4 wide, and Ron Hornaday got a great start. Jumps around Matt Crafton to the inside, but watch out for Todd Bodine. He's got a push from Martin, and they're trying to make it happen up high.
3 and 4 wide as they go 5 wide into 1 and 2.
5 wide through turns 1 and 2.
See, there's lots of room, but we just can't work it out. We're trying to share. I like that. Let's share some space.
How about the early run by Ron Hornaday on the bottom of the racetrack, trying to get the lead away from Matt Crafton. Crafton wants to lead the first lap. Going back to the high side, trying to take it back as they come out of 4.
Looks like Matt Crafton may have it. Ron Hornaday was going to go to the inside. Now he's going to pull over to side draft. Matt Crafton will lead lap number 1.
Side by side behind him, Ricky Carmichael making the move up into the 3rd spot. Parker Kligerman racing him on his outside. You've got Kevin Harvick and Todd Bodine side by side. A little bobble there by Harvick.
You see all the different entries to turn 1. Some of them angled for the bottom. Some of them headed straight for the wall. They were all over the place.
Kevin got down to the corner and went straight. He didn't even bother turning.
Only on lap number 2, and we're already 3 and 4 wide again on the 2nd lap.
How about Ricky Carmichael making his presence known there in that monster Chevrolet on the bottom?
Ricky talked about making changes back to the way they were running a year ago. Now he's falling back just a little bit, loses the momentum that he had early on in this one, as Crafton has put 3 truck lengths between himself and Hornaday.
One thing we have to remember is the draft is huge here at this racetrack with these trucks. They punch such a big hole in the air, a half a straightaway behind. You can feel the effects. How about when you're a truck length behind? Do you feel them then, Michael?
You're really sucking up then. And
ooh, is that
they're together.
Sideways? Nelson Piquet got sideways. That may have seized him up a little bit.
I think
Cole Witt has some damage as well as the 9.
The wall.
Look at all the damage on the left side of Max Pappas' truck.
And the right side of Cole Witt's truck is going to look the same. That tire's going to blow out. We'll probably have a debris caution here. A lot of scattering there of Max's tire.
Cole Witt staying down to the bottom of the racetrack, trying to get onto pit road. Behind him, the 9 of Max Pappas doing the same, trying to get off the racetrack.
Got pinched up into the wall, so he's going to have left and right side damage.
So he'll make his way onto pit road as well. We stay green. Crafton in front of Hornaday. How about Miguel Paludo going by Johnny Sauter?
Look at the draft up front. Kevin Harvick side drafting off Hornaday. That's his truck. I guess he can run over if he wants, right?
Big run by Harvick as he stays high through the turns. Keeps that momentum up. And he'll rocket his way down the front stretch.
Remember, that's the same truck that he ran at Pocono. Originally thought it may have too much downforce to come to this place. Right now, it's looking pretty good.
It has the right amount to race. It just had maybe a little bit too much to try to grab a pole. He said he didn't care about that pole. He wanted to win the race.
And look at how quickly Ron Hornaday is back in 6th. Battling for the lead right at the start of this race, drops all the way back to 6th.
You know, he had a really loose truck all throughout practice, and when you saw that area view from up above watching Ron, he was wiggling all over the place too. So I think that thing still is loose with him, Rick.
Got his hands full right now. Running up front, Matt Crafton, Kevin Harvick holding on to 2nd. Mark Martin, Parker Kligerman, Nelson Piquet Jr. your top 5. Here comes Bodine in front of Hornaday.
How about Johnny Sauter, Kyle Busch now in front of Todd Bodine. Remember, they started back outside the top 10.
Look at Todd. He's giving Kyle a push. He said, that's a good way to go right there. I'll push Kyle, see if we can't make some ground here. These guys are really dicing early.
Kevin Harvick continues to run very high around the racetrack, right?
And Rick, we may want to get a look at the front nose of that number 2 Tap Out Chevrolet. Harvick said he hit it pretty hard as he was coming up through that traffic there. He said, guys, make sure that I did not get damage there, and we're blocking the radiator. So you guys take a look at it. Let me know what you see. He's a little bit worried. Hit it pretty hard, he said.
Looks pretty clean from our vantage point.
Yeah, I think it looks good. I think he's okay, Ray.
The 32 of Mark Martin all over the back bumper of Kevin Harvick. Still chasing after that 88 of Matt Crafton.
Comes Todd Bodine. He looks to the bottom of Johnny Sauter on the front stretch.
And remember, Todd Bodine started on the outside of row 1. Look at the run that Hornaday has as he goes to the bottom of the racetrack.
Perfect situation with Todd Bodine, Johnny Sauter side by side. They were seizing each other up. Ron had a big run, wasn't able to pull it off, though.
That shows you how important that draft is, Phil. He must have closed 4 truck lengths at the end of the front straightaway. Got a huge pull, but now the draft on the outside is driving right around Ron.
But Kyle Busch, Johnny Sauter already up to the 6th and 7th spot, respectively. We knew Kyle was going to be good when we came here, and Johnny Sauter pretty much had the best truck throughout practice. Didn't get to qualifying everybody hoped for, but he's making up for it now.
Driver Matt Crafton still out in front. Ricky Carmichael, after starting in the 7th spot, has dropped back to the 12th position now, so has had a hard time hanging on to the top spots. Take another look at what happened early with Pappas and Cole Witt.
Wow, Cole just looked like maybe got a little tight and slid up the hill and got into Max and caused a mess there. Uncharacteristic for Cole. We've seen him, we know he's a young rookie, but we haven't seen him make many mistakes this year. That was a bit of a mistake.
Caution's out.
And now we're hearing caution has come out.
That was a battle for the 17th position when they got together coming off turn 2.
So the yellow flag flies. Crafton has led every lap. Kevin Harvick running 2nd. Mark Martin, Parker Kligerman, Nelson Piquet Jr.
You could see how, watch Max here. He's just minding his own business, and Cole comes right up and gets into the side of Max, and into the wall they go. Watch the move that Jason White makes to the bottom right there. That was a quick decision he made. David Starr also. Those guys saw what was happening and were able to get to the bottom in a hurry.
18 also made a little contact with the wall. Kyle Busch didn't get through there unscathed.
Michael, you said it. We were going to have trucks up against this wall here. Here they are going into turn number 1. He was just moving out there to get a good angle in the corner. He didn't even bother to turn down to the bottom. That was incidental contact there.
Just brushed the wall. So the first caution has come out. This one for debris. So NASCAR officials will clear the racetrack. The free pass will go to Cole Witt. When we come back, he'll receive the Aaron's Lucky Dog. Tonight, the Rolex Sports Car Series travels north to the beautiful French-Canadian city of Montreal to tackle the Wall of Champions at Circuit Gilles Villeneuve. Don't miss the Rolex Sports Car Series from Montreal tonight at 7 Eastern for Pacific only on Speed.
Got a lot going on here in Michigan. Some cats went to pit road, got some chassis adjustments.
And some fuel.
That's probably the key, but A couple of the guys that were running up front heard on Harvick's radio, really loose, really loose. We saw him put some wedge in that truck. So
Harvick came onto pit road. Crafton, Martin, Kligerman, PK Jr., Kyle Busch stayed out. Look at this. Harvick makes the hard left turn.
A couple of them thought about coming with him, and then a bunch of them did.
Get an update on who did what. We go down to Ray Dunlap.
Well, on my end, Rick, we did see Harvick come in. You were right, Mikey. They went to wedge in the left rear. They were going to make air pressure adjustments, but Bruce Cook said, we can't change tires yet. We'll do fuel only. And down at the other end of pit road, I saw Todd Bodine was also in on the same lap, lap 9. They did fuel and a track bar change for that International Tundra. So Harvick saying he thinks this fuel window is going to be a lot closer than they expected. So we'll see how it goes and whether or not we get weather later. This getting fuel 9 laps could be a big advantage. How about your end, Hermie?
Well, Ray, the truck that spent the most time on pit road was Ron Hornaday in the 33 truck. They actually made a left side track bar adjustment. Took 4 tires, but took the left side tire off for a while, put the track bar down on the left. He is wicked loose. The other trucks that came down pit road for fuel only, Timothy Peters, Dakota Armstrong, James Busher, Brendan Gaughan, and Justin Lofton. And one of the trucks that stayed on the racetrack, Kyle Busch, he did not come to pit road. His truck was a little bit too tight, and he told his crew chief, Eric Phillips, the truck is decent. He just could not get to the top of the racetrack in time on the restart. Rick?
Thanks, Hermie. Green flag back in the air.
Green flag.
They're going to cross the start-finish line and go 3 wide, Phil.
Yep. And not 4 and 5.
And right now, the Aaron's Lucky Dog recipient of Cole Witt is wide open coming through 3 and 4, trying to catch this group.
Look at Kyle Busch making his way through the center. Looked like Parker Kligerman got a good restart on Kyle, but Kyle didn't give up.
Nelson Piquet Jr. on the outside of that 3-wide battle for the 3rd spot.
I think this is why you see a lot of guys pit there. Harvick needed a bit of adjustment, wanted to get some gas, and you can just pass so easily here. I mean, you got plenty of room to pass. Completing a pass isn't easy, but you got an opportunity to pass.
Look where Kevin is right now. He's already battling for the top 5 on the high side of the racetrack.
And Kevin Harvick came onto pit road under our most recent caution. So Crafton still leading out front. Mark Martin running 2nd. Nelson Piquet Jr. across the stripe 3rd. And right behind him, that's Kevin Harvick in the number 2, trying to continue the dominance he had from our last race at Pocono.
Boy, down the straightaways, if you get caught in the middle, it looks like a Daytona Talladega. Once you get to the corner, then you can make up some ground. But down the straightaway, we saw Johnny Sauter lose several spots.
What you're going to see also is people trying to get in holes that aren't quite there. You get down to the bottom of someone coming off the corner and there's a bit of a gap. They're going to try to squeeze up and get in a hole. You might see some contact if that happens often.
What a great restart Kevin Harvick had. Restarted this race 11th, already up into the top 4.
Oh, see?
Into the wall. The 22 of Joey Coulter comes off of the wall into the grass in the infield. Caution comes out once again.
Well, I think he's going to get
back going here.
Without a great deal of damage. You see the splitter. Looks like maybe that center splitter braces bent as well as the left side, but the splitter's still intact.
Stay down there for a second. We got 2 coming by you here. 2 coming by you.
How do you go through the grass and dig up the splitter like that and not rip it off? I can't believe that. It's very fortunate.
So Joey Coulter brings out our 2nd caution.
I don't know what he was doing.
I was just getting ready to say, I believe someone may have helped him get into that wall. Let's take a look.
Well, it's like I was saying right before this happened. You know, you see guys get down to the bottom. They want to get in a hole. They try to make some room.
Todd's going to pull up here. That's like the 51 of Colin Brown behind him. They make a little contact. Boy, Todd's got a lot of damage to the right front corner of that Toyota.
It looked like Todd just tried to force his way in, and when he clipped the 51, it turned to 22.
Do you remember a couple races back when Todd slid up into Austin Dillon?
Watch.
Same scenario here.
I just want to tell you, Phil, you know this. You're so vulnerable down there on the bottom. You got all that momentum, but if you can't get in a hole, you're going to lose it all. And Todd just tried to crowd his way in.
And you know someone's going to be up there. Colin Brown made contact with the outside wall as well.
Joey Coulter, I think, stayed off of the wall. I think it was Colin Brown who got the wall. Take a look at Austin Dillon's vantage point.
Colin was moving up, trying to give Todd room.
What a great...
Jason White again for the great avoidance of that accident.
There's the damage to the right front for Todd Bodine. Kyle Busch also in. We go down to Hermie.
He wasn't in wrong, was he?
Yeah, Kyle Busch came in for fuel only, guys. No tires yet. No chassis adjustments. Also, the 4 of Ricky Carmichael came in. They're making a chassis adjustment, air pressure, and 4 tires on the 4 truck, Ray.
Good bit of damage on the right front nose there of Todd Bodine's International Tundra. They're going to have to get some bare bond out. Got 2 or 3 guys out there checking out, trying to decide. They don't want to tear any of it off, just repair it. So they're working on that thing, and maybe a little damage to the right rear at the same time.
A very aerodynamic racetrack. If they don't get that thing patched together pretty well, it will hurt the performance of that truck.
Todd Bodine finishing second in this race a year ago. Helps bring out the second caution here at Michigan. What's the recipe for a wreck? Well, Wednesday, August 31st, The Dumbest Stuff on Wheels returns with an all-new episode. See the most outrageous and downright stupid situations, crashes, and mishaps ever caught on tape. Don't miss an all-new Dumbest Stuff on Wheels, August 31st at 8 p.m. Eastern, only on Speed. Take a look at why we're under this caution. Bodine sliding up the track.
There's going to be a couple of people in that crash right there that thinks maybe that was the dumbest thing on wheels. You have those emotions when you've been taken out. Joey Coulter sliding through the infield grass. We saw Justin Lofton is getting the lucky dog. We saw that 51 truck up into the outside wall, Colin Brown. But all is good for Justin Lofton, getting the Aaron's lucky dog, getting a lap back on the field. That's a good feeling, isn't it, Phil?
Well, it sure is. We saw him get lapped right before the caution flag came out. I'm not sure what sort of problem he may have had.
Pace truck back off the racetrack. Crafton and Mark Martin bring the field back to the green flag.
Now, can you imagine all the action we've had? And Matt Crafton hasn't seen any of it. He's been out ahead of the race since they said go, but that could be in trouble now.
Martin,
too.
A great restart. Martin on the inside has the edge as they go into 1 and 2.
Look at Kyle Buescher on the outside.
Hornaday real slow middle of the pack. Here goes Kyle Buescher on the outside of Austin Dillon. He has a head of steam up.
Huge momentum. Ricky Carmichael gingerly going by the outside of Ron Hornaday as well.
How about Kyle pulls to the inside of Nelson Piquet Jr. Now he's going to go to the outside of Sauter as we continue with Matt Crafton in the lead. Now Kevin Harvick taking over second.
Took second away from Mark Martin.
He came across the start-finish line, Phil, 15th in line. And he's going to come back around 2 miles later, 5th in line. 10 trucks in 1 lap. Put a note by that and make sure you remember that if there's a green light checker or something going on late in the race, those are the kind of moves you can make if you come in and make a pit stop.
Still 3 and 4 wide around this racetrack. A very wide racing surface. Anywhere they can go to get by someone else, they will. And we're seeing everyone serpentine behind the 88 now. Matt Crafton trying to get that aerodynamic edge. Letting Crafton bust through the air and get a draft off of him down to the outside. The 2 of Kevin Harvick goes. Does he have the momentum to take the lead away?
No, he doesn't. Matt Crafton hard on the bottom is able to hold Kevin Harvick off. A couple of those trucks behind him, Kyle Busch and Johnny Sauter, got together last time off turn 2. It looked like Phil sideways, almost in the outside wall. So a lot of action. Matt Crafton's feeling the heat, but so far he's been able to keep that thing out front.
Look at right side of your screen, 3 wide again. There's Max Pappas in the middle with a 9 damaged Geico Toyota. Todd Bodine now looks like his truck seems to be pretty much up to speed with as much damage as he has to the right front corner.
Top 3 trucks starting to pull away, Ray.
And just wanted to add on Matt Crafton's strategy quickly. He came on the radio and talked to his crew chief, Bud Hapley, and said, what do you think we should do here? Bud said, let's pit. Crafton said, no, I want to keep the track position. He said, we're not halfway through a fuel run here. Let's go ahead and stay out there. If we stay out long enough, everybody will pit with us.
Look at Mark Martin. He makes the pass on Kevin Harvick. Mark's been dedicated to the bottom of this racetrack, Phil, ever since we started practice. He hadn't been much higher than that right there. Matt Crafton down against the yellow line on the bottom, and Mark right in the middle of the track.
And that was a product of Kevin Harvick trying to make the pass on Matt Crafton. It got his momentum slowed down enough to give Mark the opportunity to get by. And here goes Kyle Busch, going to try to take that opportunity to get by Kevin Harvick.
Trying to take 3rd away from Kevin Harvick. Kyle Busch to the inside. Harvick, a bobble up top, will lose more momentum. And Kyle Busch takes the 3rd spot away. Smoke coming out from underneath the 9 of Max Pappas, involved in the incident with Cole Witt early in this race.
Looked like his patch failed. Maybe the team taped that thing together and it came apart and got against his tire. That tire will blow out with that much smoke. Max needs to back her down.
A lot of damage to the left side of that race truck, as well as the right side. So Max Pappas
rubbing pretty bad right there.
will have to be cautious around this track.
Yeah, you don't want to be on the outside of Max in case that tire goes.
You can hear there, he hadn't backed her down. A lot of gas there off turn 2.
Good. Can I stay out, Gus? Can I stay out?
How long can I stay out?
Stay out, Max. Go ahead.
Ooh, stay out, Max. You just heard it.
See if that's going to be where we. There's the contact right there. That's what.
More contact. Wow. Tear it apart. Battle for the lead. Mark Martin going to the inside of Matt Crafton.
Mark was able to lead that lap at the line. Matt's fighting back on the outside.
Crafton trying to keep the momentum up on the high side of the racetrack. Down the backstretch they go. It's a drag race. Martin on the inside. Crafton on the outside. 22 laps into this race.
Don't you know right now that Matt Crafton is feeling good? He's racing up there with Mark Martin. He has Kyle Busch in his mirror. He's with some of the very best that we've ever had in this sport.
We talked, could anybody do anything with Mark, Kevin, and Kyle? And Matt says, I think I can.
I'll raise my hand.
Give me that shot. But watch what's going to happen here. Where's Kyle going to go? Matt's going to probably squeeze down, maybe side draft off Mark, and Kyle go high.
Did you see how close they were when they crossed the stripe that time? 0.004 seconds. The closest finish here at Michigan, 0.005 seconds. We know we're going to have a great finish here.
This draft is so important here. It's a lot like racing at Daytona Talladega.
Couple more. The truckers are coming forward, Phil. That's Johnny Sauter that just moved around Kevin Harvick, and he's bringing Austin Dillon with him. Our point leaders battling inside the top 5.
Mark Martin now with a big run out in front. Here comes Kyle Busch battling Crafton for the second spot. Crafton able to hold on to it. Mark Martin has taken over the lead in Michigan. Can he hang on? Get another win for Turner Motorsports, or will it be Matt Crafton that gets back to victory lane? Stay with us here on Speed, your Motorsports Authority. Wednesday night, the car show with Adam Carolla is all new and a must-see as Dave Mira schools Matt Farah on rally racing in Seattle. And Adam wreaks havoc at the New York Auto Show. Don't miss the car show Wednesday night at a special time. It's 10:30 Eastern, 7:30 Pacific, only on Speed. Out in front, Mark Martin, a dominant lead right now, 1.6 seconds in front of Matt Crafton. Mark Martin trying to put another racetrack on his resume as far as winning in all 3 series. Mark has won 5 Cup races here, 2 Nationwide Series races here, but has never won a truck race. He wants to add that to his resume.
Yeah, right now, Matt Crafton just barely retains that second spot over Kyle Busch. Matt coming off that huge win at Iowa, second win of his career 4 races ago, has a great opportunity here to make it number 3.
Kyle Busch runs along in the 3rd spot, started 13th, charged right to the front, been on pit road a couple of times, but now grabs that 2nd spot away. Hermie, what are they saying down there in his pit?
Well, very interesting. You know, Kyle Busch on the caution before he pitted, Kevin Harvick came to pit road, and Kyle Busch asked on his radio, how did the 2 truck get back up here so fast? So when the 18 pitted on the next caution, he questioned his crew chief, Eric Phillips, about his track position, why they didn't pit the time before. But once he made it back up to the top 5 in 1 lap, Kyle said, okay, now we're good. And we also, while we're talking about the 18 of Kyle Busch, want to give a shout out to Rick Ryan, team general manager. He told me right before the race started, his daughter is currently in labor with grandchild number 1. So he's hoping to have a couple victories today on and off the racetrack.
You'd like to see him smile, wouldn't you? A little bit of a frown there as we look back at 4th, and that's Austin Dillon driving the Bass Pro Shops number 3. Austin Dillon got the big win at Nashville earlier. That makes it 3 wins in his career. His best finish here, though, only 5th. Looking to improve on that today.
Right now, Johnny Sauter started back in the 13th spot. He holds down spot number 5. The fastest truck in practice, a winner early this year at Martinsville. Johnny Sauter looking for win number 2, running in the top 5.
Heating up his tailgate, Phil. That's Kevin Harvick. What an adventurous race it's been for him. Been on pit road also. I've been following him on Twitter. His wife Twitters all the time. I like to find out what's going on inside the truck, and I bet she knows. She said he's screaming loose. Every time he comes on the radio, it's about how loose that truck is. Well, he just moves into the top 5 with that loose truck.
Going back behind Harvick and Sauter is Ricky Carmichael. Now Paludo has moved up there into the mix as well. Miguel Paludo looking to improve upon his finish. Miguel Paludo
has a best finish, career finish of 4th, and that took place just 2 races ago at ORP, a short track. He's trying to add a top 5 to his resume on one of these super speedways.
How about that battle right there, man? Those guys are lined up, 5 of them.
Ricky Carmichael in the Monster Chevrolet number 4, and then we have the A truck of Nelson Piquet Jr. Nelson had a top 10 finish here last year. Looked like Johnny Sauter may have made contact with that outside wall exiting the corner.
Johnny's been all over the place. It looked like he was charging up toward the front, and he's faded back to this great battle. Ricky Carmichael's had a fast truck here all weekend long, and certainly looks good right now, along with Nelson Piquet Jr. looking to the bottom. I was hoping he was going to not move up there. It makes me a little nervous when they get in that position.
How about the different lines that we've talked about it, Michael? We saw trucks with their left sides down on the line and trucks scraping the outside wall.
Nelson Piquet Jr. holding on to the 9th spot right now. Has experience at this racetrack, ran here a year ago and got a top 10 finish, which was big for Nelson Piquet Jr. a year ago. Now it's almost expected out of the young man.
You can see these guys are mixing it up every lap with those different lines. There's Sauter looking to try to side draft off Harvick.
How about the damage on this 5 truck? And believe it or not, Todd Bodine right now is driven back up to the top 10. He right now runs in the 10th spot.
And Todd Bodine's finish here a year ago, 2nd, was his best ever at Michigan. But early problems for the 5 team. Looks like it'll be difficult for him to duplicate that finish he had from 2010.
I don't know, Rick. They get in the pits again to put a little more tape on her. He's already in the top 10. He might have something for him.
And no guarantee that we're going to see any more caution flags. We've seen a caution too. No guarantee we're going to see any more.
We've had 2 cautions already. That's actually quite a few for Michigan. Mark Martin, 4 seconds in front of the field in Michigan. Welcome back to the VFW 200 here at Michigan International Speedway, the 15th race of the 2011 season. We're riding along with our race leader. Yes, that is Mark Martin out in front of Austin Dillon. But Austin Dillon is your race leader because Mark Martin actually just came down pit road. Ray, what happened?
Well, he needed to get in to make sure they were not going too far in their fuel window. Lap 34 when Mark came in. No adjustments for that Exide Chevrolet, and we expect Matt Crafton to come to pit road this time. Crafton is running 3rd right now, and you see that yellow truck is on his way down pit road. Crafton has been on the radio saying he's very, very loose in and a tiny bit tight off. So Bud Haefele is going to make an adjustment with air pressure and probably a track bar swing too. And now we see the 13 is in on Hermes end.
Yeah, he's coming down to get, he's real loose, Ray. He's going to get a chassis adjustment, 4 tires and fuel for Johnny Sauter. Try to get him back on the racetrack. He has not been as happy with this truck as he was in practice, Ray.
They started to think about a 2-tire stop. Crafton said, no, absolutely not. They went for a little bit of a hang-up on the left rear here. Front is done. Left took a little bit longer. Crafton will be away. He pitted on lap 38, and his teammate will head out right behind him.
There's 2 Brazilians.
Yeah, Team Brazil coming down pit road. Miguel Paludo, the 7. Nelson Piquet Jr., the 8. Both of those trucks running well up into the top 10, Army.
Yeah, Nelson Piquet Jr. had a good, solid run. He qualified good, has been in the top 10 pretty much all day. Likes his truck. A little bit on the free side. A wedge adjustment and 4 tires, Ray.
Number 7, Miguel Paludo, and loves his truck set. Absolutely no adjustments. He has been very calm on the radio. And guys, guess what? His wife Patty is due with their first child. They're going to name him Oliver, and it could come at any minute. He's hoping they get this race done and he gets home. A little bit of a stall there. They'll lose just a second or so with the 7 pits on lap 40.
You could see the results of that bit of a stall. They came in right together, those 2 Brazilians, and they're leaving a bit separated. You see Austin Dillon there off turn 2. Remember when Mark Martin finished his pit stop? He was right on the leader's bumper, eventually made that pass. That's the kind of gap that Dillon has over those trucks that are running inside the top 5. Miguel Paludo was in the top 5 when he pitted. Now he's going to be well over a lap behind.
Everyone that is still on the racetrack has pitted. So Austin Dillon came onto pit road at lap 9. Kyle Busch came onto pit road lap 14. Kevin Harvick running 3rd. He came on 9. And now we see Austin Dillon on pit road once again. Ray.
At 41, you'll see that Bass Pro Shop Chevrolet coming at you. You know, they've been saying on the radio, stay up in the high line. It really seems like your momentum works so much better up there. They did fuel only on lap 9. They're going to go with tires here. He said he's a tiny bit loose they'll make an air pressure adjustment, but you do not see any track bar or wedge adjustment happening there. So minimal changes for him. Back up to the front of the field here, we see Kevin Harvick has come in, and as you said, he has been on the radio saying, terrible loose, terrible loose. They're going to add a spring rubber and also air pressure. The 3 rolls by him. You see there, they complete the work on the right side, and putting that spring rubber in, it takes a long time. On the left rear, they'll lose a bit of time here on pit road for the tap-out Chevy.
And Mikey, that's tough to do under green flag conditions there. That cost him a number of seconds. That will translate into a bunch of truck links on the racetrack.
Yeah, but you know, I like getting it done under green. That way, you only lose truck links. You lose truck positions. You come in under caution and make that same change, 6, 8, 10 trucks can get in that same space. When you do it under green, sure, you're going to lose some ground, but you're betting those changes will allow you to make them up when you get bunched back up. So I think that's a good call.
Bunch of different trucks on different pit cycles. Right now, 18 trucks on the lead lap. Crafton scored a lap down. Sauter, PK Jr., Miguel Paludo all being scored 1 lap down. 19th, 20th, 21st, and 22nd.
Right now, our top 3 running trucks, Kyle Busch, Ricky Carmichael, and Todd Bodine, all pitted last on lap number 14. So they're not that far away coming back down pit road.
You would expect them on pit road probably within the next 3 to 5 laps for Kyle Busch, Ricky Carmichael, and Todd Bodine. Again, your top 3 here. Timothy Peters, Parker Kligerman, your top 5. Lofton, Starr, Coulter, White, and Buescher, your top 10. The Traxxas 18 Toyota Tundra of Kyle Busch back in front in a truck race. He's won 5 times already this year. Will he make it 6 today? Speed's coverage of the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series on Speed is brought to you by Magnavox, engineered in Japan by Funai, available at Target. By the 100% reinvented Ford Explorer, drive one. And by Aaron. You don't need credit, all you need is Aaron's.
You don't need credit. Look at that site. I love that. A racetrack full of campers. Great atmosphere here in Michigan.
47 laps are complete in this truck race.
That infield is full. Here comes our leader, Kyle Busch, to pit road here on lap number 48.
So Kyle Busch gives up the lead. Ricky Carmichael will get it if he doesn't come to pit road. Herming.
Kyle Busch was on pit road last at lap 14. This is his first time getting 4 tires. They're a little bit snug. They're adding 1/2 a pound of air to the right rear and 2 cans of Sunoco fuel. Ray?
On my end, Hermie, we saw Parker Kligerman come to pit road. They dropped the track bar around. It was lap 46, and they're taking a look at these tires. Seems like the wear is really, really good. 17's on its way, Hermie.
He's coming back to pit road. Yeah, he just pitted a couple laps ago then, Ray. They were on pit road a little bit tight. You're hearing a lot of trucks about being loose, but the 17 has been tight. No chassis adjustments, but an air pressure adjustment. Air out of both left side tires for Timothy Peters when he stopped, Ray.
Unbroker Chevrolet. Tires and fuel here. They're going to clean the grill off and send him back to the racetrack. How about Carmichael?
Yeah, he's back on pit road. He's going to get tires. Expect a little bit of a chassis adjustment. He's been a little bit free, but they have made adjustments on it and made it better since the last stop, Ray.
Todd Bodine said that he is aero-tight. They're going to go to the right side here, and the guys are going to try to continue to work on that front nose a little bit if they have time. This should be a 4-tire stop. Fuel going on here for the Max Force Engines Toyota. They're going to go 4 tires here. Air pressure change on the right front for Bodine.
Colin Brown on pit road getting service done to that number 51 as Ricky Carmichael makes his way off. Justin Lofton was the race leader. He's making his way onto pit road.
Remember, he parlayed an Aaron's lucky dog into leading this race.
Yeah, Joey Coulter went for a slide through the grass. Now he's grabbed the lead. So there's a lot going on right now with the differing strategies in this point in the race.
Remember, early in this race, Joey Coulter got tapped by the 5 of Todd Bodine, slid through the grass, and now is in front of the field here in Michigan. We've passed the halfway points. Just 50 laps of racing to go. Joey Coulter in front of David Starr, Ron Hornaday, and guess what? Mark Martin has made his way up to 4th. Wednesday, August 31st on Speed, My Ride Rules returns with an all-new episode. See 4 car fanatics face off in the wildest car competition ever. Don't miss an all-new episode of My Ride Rules. Wednesday, August 31st, 9 p.m. Eastern, only on Speed. In front of the field, it's Joey Coulter, but we would expect any minute now he is going to have to make the hard left turn and come on to pit road because he's been on the racetrack for 41 laps already.
Well, anytime you mix things up by spinning through the grass, you got to do something on pit road. This team's taking a gamble here, it looks like, Phil.
He's already run 41 laps here. If he can stretch this thing maybe 1 or 2 more laps, he may have enough fuel to get to the end.
So a big strategy change or possibility for Joey Coulter. What's going on with the 33 team, though, Herbie?
Well, Rick, 2 laps ago, he was on pit road for a 4-tire stop. He has been fussing, much like his boss and teammate, Kevin Harvick, complaining about a loose truck. But contrary to what you might think, to try to fix it, you guys talk about it, they shoved a spring rubber in the right rear of that 33 truck to try to get that spoiler in the air, but a very loose race truck for Ron Hornaday.
You can tell, too, Hermie, man, he's all over the place.
Yeah. I don't think he wanted to get up in front of Matt Crafton. He just had no choice. He had to follow that truck up there.
Joey Coulter in the 22 still holding on to the top spot. He will make the hard left turn now. Coming on to pit road.
Use it up, get in there, Buzz. You're the man now.
I think he may be able to stretch this thing. I think they may try it. Harold Holly's awfully good. He's his crew chief.
We talked about how can a truck that goes 40-some laps make a 100-lapper. Well, you just have to mix things up, and that's what this team's done.
This is going to be 43 laps, and he will have 43 laps to go. I think he split the rest of the race exactly in half from when he stopped before.
Harold Holly's a gambler.
Absolutely.
That's his crew chief, Harold Holly. Ray, what are they saying?
Said his truck is really neutral on the radio, so they've been very, very happy. Obviously a 4-tire change here, and they'll also get plenty of gas in it. It looks to me like this may be their gamble, that this is the final pit stop, and they're going to try to go away. You see the second can going in there. They hang that left rear, having trouble on the left front. They had a lug nut that jammed up of some kind. They've got the tires on, plenty of fuel. The 22 is on its way back to the racetrack.
I think that's exactly what they're going to try to do. They're going to try to stretch this thing. Now, obviously, if the caution flag were to come out, that would negate all that advantage. But I think he may be the only truck on the racetrack now that can stretch it.
Pit stops have cycled through once again. Mark Martin back in front of the field. See Joey Coulter trying to stay in front of Mark Martin. He'll come out on fresher tires. Austin Dillon running second. Kyle Busch is third. Tomorrow, NASCAR's ultimate pre-race show marches into Michigan. Kyle Busch, Brad Keselowski, Jeff Gordon, and Denny Hamlin join us live. Plus, we'll look back at the controversy and carnage in Watkins Glen. NASCAR race day built by the Home Depot tomorrow at 10 Eastern live on Speed.
Boy, a lot to talk about on race day here with just 4 races to go before the chase. We have to talk about Ty Bodine. You see his rear bumper bar dragging the racetrack. NASCAR posted them, told him he had to come in and fix that. They're going to go ahead and put 4 tires on. I'm not sure they're in their pit window right now.
The team's done an excellent job of getting that truck repaired after the damage from earlier, but this was something that jumped up and bit them. A result of that crash earlier, the bumper bar's off. They got to try to jerk that thing away from the truck, change 4 tires, get it full of gas, and all that done in hopefully less than 15 seconds.
Also hearing problems with the 18, slow on the racetrack.
Looks like it's out of gas.
Wouldn't be out of gas.
Yeah, I mean, what just fell off was water pressure. Water pressure went from 20 pounds to nothing, so I don't think there's a gauge mixed up, right? No,
There was something, was that just debris from being low on the track, Phil, you think, that he was kicking up? Or?
Might have been, yeah.
It's got fuel pressure.
It's only
but that's what it's running like. It just was like, but it, I mean, it doesn't smell smoking. It ain't doing anything. It's just locking up.
Sometimes you'll get a bad gauge. You'll get a water pressure gauge or whatever that will go bad and you'll keep running. But he said it sounds like it's it feels like it's locking up.
And then that just tells you all the senses.
I think it's mixing water and oil. Something happened inside.
Water and oil don't mix, especially in a racing game.
All your senses you use. You heard him say, I don't really smell anything. You start smelling an engine, you know to start looking closely at those gauges.
So it must have knocked valves into the valley or something like that.
Going to take a hard left-hand turn. First non-top 6 finish this year for Kyle Busch.
You do not see that very often, where the 18 makes the hard left turn into the garage area. Hood goes up for Kyle Rowdy Busch. Mark Martin has a 2.4 second lead over Austin Dillon. Matt Crafton runs third. Johnny Sauter fourth. Nelson Piquet Jr. is fifth.
I I just love the strategy that's gotten us to this point we're at now, Phil. The last time by, PK in 5th, Pluto in 6th, and Harvick in 7th. They were your 3 fastest trucks. They have a little bit fresher tires, and they're gaining on Mark Martin.
Mark Martin still needs one more stop. We're hearing it's going to come in just the next few laps. So we will cut away to a break and be back for that stop. There are only 4 races left until the chase for the Sprint Cup, and tensions are high. Who's in and who needs to win Sunday? Check out all the latest news, photos, and videos at speed.com. We're continuing under the hood of the 18 of Kyle Busch, his last DNF, Dover of 2010. Look at the tape on these cars. The 32 of Mark Martin has made his way onto pit road, right?
He said his truck is absolutely awesome. Really loves the way it's rolling through the corner. He last pitted on lap 34. Here comes Mark Martin now. They said don't make any changes. We'll go with 4 tires. Keep in mind, Mark Martin got the first career victory for Turner Motorsports in the Nationwide Series at Las Vegas. And they're going to get a pretty good stop complete here. Mark Martin will be done with his service for today. 32 back to the racetrack, now to Hermie.
Yeah, the problem for Kyle Busch, Ray, somebody's side window went through the front of Kyle Busch's truck, punched a hole in the radiator, and he ran the 18 truck out of water. Terminal for the 18. He's done for the day.
Imagine that. Kyle's only had 1 engine DNF in his 94 truck races. Last time was Texas in 2007.
You know, that's kind of interesting. You know, Mark has dominated this race, Phil, but with over 30 laps to go, he's got his last set of new tires. We're seeing other trucks outrun him with just a few lap fresher tires from this pit stop cycle. You run 10 more laps, get your tires, then we have a late caution. That's when things are going to get mixed up. He's getting his new tires last set pretty early, huh?
I think it is too. But I think he's feeling like this is going to be his last pit stop. He just ran long enough to get in his fuel window to know he had enough fuel to get to the end.
Austin Dillon now out front. Matt Crafton running second. Johnny Sauter, Nelson Piquet Jr., Miguel Paludo, your top 5.
The plot thickens, Rick. This is a little bit of strategy here that could change the outcome of this baby.
The important thing for Mark Martin is he remained on the lead lap, so if the caution flag were to come out, he would not have to do the wave around or a lucky dog or anything. He would, when everyone else came to pit road, he would have the track position. More than likely, he would take the lead.
He would, and it would also spell bad news for some of those guys that are a lap down, counting on all the people ahead of them to pit so they could stay on the track, maybe grab a lucky dog or at least a wave around. Mark might put a hitch in that plan.
Rim gone in the 62, right on the back bumper of that 51 of Colin Brown. Colin Brown bringing the Ford back into the Camping World Truck Series this weekend.
These trucks running just inside the top 20, 18th and 19th.
Only 13 trucks on the lead lap as they're running. Mark Martin running in that 13th spot.
And we had a feeling this race was going to go green at some point. We were going to have green flag pit stops. We certainly have had that.
They've continued to cycle through, and a lot of guys on different strategies, at least different stopping time. Austin Dillon last came on pit road 30 laps ago on lap 41. Hermie.
Hey, I just want to clarify, this was a piece of debris that punctured the radiator in Kyle Busch's car. And to explain to the fans at home, it's the quarter glass that goes right here. Somebody on the racetrack is missing one. This came off another competitor's truck, went through the radiator for Kyle Busch, and ended his day.
Well, that's amazing. I mean, I think that's the debris we saw probably after it made its way, you know, part of that after it made its way through the grill into the radiator.
What about these teammates battling for second? And one other thing about that, Phil, that sort of puts his record into perspective, doesn't it? What he's been able to accomplish with all the wins and never outside the top 6. There's so many things that can go wrong when you line these babies up and go run them. And today something bit him.
Johnny Sauter so good in practice yesterday and now flexing the muscles as he moves up into the 2nd spot ahead of his teammate. Austin Dillon in front still has a 7.4 second lead over Sauter.
But Sauter made a pass that lap right there, Phil, and still outran our leader by 3/4 of a second. So Johnny's definitely fast.
Looked like Matt had thought about going back down to the inside to try to get that spot back. The draft is so critical here. It looked like Johnny obviously was back or drove by him, and then the draft is just bringing Matt right back up to the tailgate of Johnny Sauter.
Starting the day, we talked about the big 3 here in Michigan. And that big three was Kyle Busch, Kevin Harvick, and Mark Martin. Well, Mark Martin has been very strong here. We haven't talked a lot about Kevin Harvick. He's running in the 6th spot now. He's 18 seconds behind race leader Austin Dillon, and Kyle Busch is out of this race.
And I still think right now that Mark Martin may be in the driver's seat. It's hard to imagine Fenton running 13th right now that he is. I think he's pitted for the last time. Everybody else on the racetrack will have to make one more stop, with a possible exception of Joey Coulter.
But you saw how easy it is to pass. Kyle Busch started 15th, was running 5th the first time he came by after a restart. You put on new tires, the caution falls at the right point in time. We're going to have a scramble to the checker.
These two continuing to battle for the 2nd spot. Johnny Sauter breaking the air, and right behind him, Matt Crafton trying to drive through that hole that is punched in the air. They serpentine down the backstretch numerous times. Johnny Sauter trying to shake Matt Crafton, but Crafton hanging on.
Here's Mark Martin. He just got by Joey Coulter. I think these are the only 2 trucks right now on the racetrack, with the exception of Nelson Piquet Jr., who just pitted on lap number 74.
Trouble.
He may be out of gas, Michael. 38, 37 laps he's run since he last pitted.
Slow on the racetrack.
I'm out of gas.
He heard him. I'm out of gas.
37 laps was all he was able to run.
Really nothing to gain by stretching your fuel.
That's why Mark Martin came to pit road. As soon as he got in his window, he just split the race in half like Joey Coulter and came to pit road. So he knew he wouldn't run out.
His teammates on the same strategy. Right.
Crafton was scheduled to come to pit road the next lap. Austin Dillon is here. He comes into a pretty good slide. Said his truck is a little bit tight off of the corner. They're doing right sides there. They'll come around. They said, get some fuel in it, but be ready to go when the jack drops. Little bit of a hang up here on the left side. They'll get the gas in. Austin Dillon is away now to Hermie.
And want to get a word with Kyle Busch. Kyle, we saw the debris that ended your day. Any warning from inside the truck?
Yeah, I ran it over, so I knew when I ran it over, but, you know, I kept an eye on the gauges to make sure nothing like that was happening, and snuck up on us, you know, it just happened. The water pressure gauge didn't do anything until the motor started missing, and by that point it was too late, you know, and water temp didn't change, so just, I hate it for all the guys at Traxxas, Dollar General, M&M's, Flexco, everybody that supports us, and, you know, it's really going to hurt us in the Owners' Championships, obviously. We got a caution on Speedway, but you're welcome, Rick. But, you know, I just hate it for all our guys. You know, we really worked hard and thought we had a good truck and thought we were going to have a decent day out of it, just waiting for this caution right here to come out and get ourselves our track position back to keep up with the leaders, see if the changes we made were better, because it seemed like our truck was starting to run better.
And Rick and Phil and Michael will wait for you to join them in the booth to finish up there, Kyle.
I appreciate him helping us out there. The caution did come out, and Matt Crafton did run out of fuel. They get back into their stall. He's trying to get it refired. Crafton was battling with his teammate before the caution came out for the 2nd spot. Right.
Just to give you a couple of quick updates, Rick, we saw his teammate Sauter come to pit road there, and Kevin Harvick said, we're very close on fuel. He just came down pit road, and as he made his entrance, that yellow flag came out. So Harvick rolls through, did not do his stop, and went back to the racetrack. But if, you know, he needs to get to pit road very soon in that 2 truck.
It's a big break for Crafton. Well, I won't say a big break, but it is a break. It minimizes damage by running out of gas when the caution flew.
Also helps out Miguel Paludo. He needed to be on pit road, so the caution will help him.
It's Camping World's destination recreation.
Today I've come to Camping World to see if I could get into some RVing without spending a fortune. And they recommended this unit. How about the Coleman Ultralight? This thing is great because you can go up and down the highway with it, carrying it from an SUV or a half-ton pickup. But what I really like is their spacious room on the inside, plenty of room to sleep a couple and a couple of children. It's got air conditioning on the top, it's got a roll-out power awning, it's got aluminum wheels, and this thing has a deluxe leveling package. You can get into this travel trailer for under 20 grand.
I love the way Ray never actually even looked at that vehicle when he was talking about it. He knew where everything was.
Level. He was level,
he didn't even, he didn't even have to turn around. Welcome back to the VFW 200. Take a look at the campers and the, well, not only the campers, but the campers that are in the infield of
this racetrack watching today.
All of them. Just a great weekend at MIS. The weather's always really nice here. Racing's fantastic. This cat's had a bit of a problem. Ran out of gas, ran his truck too far. There's some issues on pit road.
A tire violation, so he'll have to restart at the back of the field.
We're only showing Matt 1 lap down, though, so could have been worse. Hermie.
Yeah, had several takers on pit road this time by, but let's give a call out first to James Busher and his guys. They came in and got 4 tires right there, and they really have turned their day around. James, the first part of this race, was really, really tight and frustrated with his truck. A long green flag run right there. The truck came around, gained a lot of track position, and they're good to go to the end with a pretty good truck right now. Also came to pit road. Let's give a call to Dakota Armstrong in this number 98 truck. He was running in the top 15 when that caution came out. They came in, got 4 tires, a little bit of a chassis adjustment. He's been free on entry to the corner, but a pretty solid day so far for the 98 team. Ray?
Kevin Harvick came to pit road on that last round there, and I want to tell you, Hermie, he is not pleased at all with his pit crew. He just came on the radio and scalded him a couple of times, said it has not been a good day in the pits for this 2-truck team, but Bruce Cook reminded him the 18 is out of the race. We need to think big picture. They did 4 tires there and made a wedge adjustment for that too. He is back somewhere around, I think, 8th position, guys, if you can update it off the computer.
Yeah, the reason that you're talking about the 18 being off the racetrack, they are battling for an owner's championship. Coming into this race, the 18 had a 27-point lead over the 2 in that battle.
Is that more said?
Or a lookalike?
Yeah, that's Bruce Cook. I know, with a headset on there.
And I'm pretty sure you don't want to mess with the other guy.
He's from
Tap Out.
Which might mean you get your butt kicked.
Exactly.
Boris was ready to do a little butt kicking around too.
Walking tall.
Address was
Walking tall. The 62 of Brendan Gaughan got the wave around, so he will be back on the lead lap. Right now, Cole Witt, 19th. He is the first truck a lap down. So after the pit stops, Mark Martin out in front. Austin Dillon, Johnny Sauter, Nelson Piquet Jr., and Justin Lofton, your top 5.
And the 4 trucks in the top 5 other than Mark Martin all have better tires than Mark Martin. He's going to have his hands full, Rick.
Right behind Justin Lofton, Parker Kligerman, Miguel Paludo, James Busher, Kevin Harvick, and Timothy Peters, your top 10.
Lucky dog from Aaron's to Colin Brown. He started this race with a crash, found his way back on the lead lap. It's been a really solid day for this team. He's been very competitive, had those issues early, so it's good to see Aaron's getting him back on the lead lap.
A lot of trucks coming on to pit road. This last caution included in those Ricky Carmichael, Jason White, Joey Coulter, Dakota Armstrong, David Starr, all stopping in this most recent caution. So with just 18 laps of racing to go when they cross the stripe, out in front, Mark Martin. Green flag goes back in the air.
We'll see what those fresher tires by those other competitors up in the top 5 will do for him.
Miguel Paludo pulls out before they get to turn 1 and tries to take the position on the low side. Austin Dillon's trying to drive around Mark Martin on the low side.
Austin Dillon with 8 laps fresher tires than Mark Martin as they race down the backstretch.
And there's a reason why these teams all qualify on brand new tires, Rick. It's because that's when they're the best.
How about the move by Johnny Sauter? Moves to the inside, takes the lead away from Mark Martin.
Much as we saw when 2 trucks are side by side, that was punching such a big hole. Johnny took advantage of that and then moves up the racetrack out front.
Johnny Sauter out in front. Mark Martin trying to hold on to second. Here comes Joey Coulter in the 22. His teammate in the 3, Austin Dillon, tucks in right behind him. And Mark Martin takes the lead back from Sauter.
Sauter draft amazing or not?
Sauter pulled to the bottom to break the draft, but Mark Martin had a big push from Parker Kligerman, and it made them just drive right around Johnny Sauter. Look how tight they are against that wall exiting turn 2.
Ricky Carmichael bounced off that wall just now coming off turn 2.
2-mile wide track. They got the paint scrubbed off the turn 2 wall. Every one of them has been in it, I believe.
Side by side, Timothy Peters, Miguel Paludo, 2 white trucks.
Wow, Johnny Sauter came down the front straightaway last time with the lead, thinking I'm going to break the draft and drive away from these guys. He's running 4th this time by.
Carmichael moving up into 4. Just got by the 9 of Max Pappas. And Pappas' problems early on in this race. Currently in the 23rd spot, 6 laps down. Max almost had problems
with the 6 just moments ago. Take a look.
He matched the 9 truck with all the damage. He's going to. Whoa. A little bit of a bump drafting gone awry right there.
Don't know if Justin Lofton knew that was going to happen.
Justin Lofton said, "Don't help me anymore, Max."
There's Ricky Carmichael scrubbing the wall coming off the corner.
He's just going to try to push Justin on by, but that's just a little aggressive. See, Parker Kligerman is able to hang right on Mark Martin's tailgate. Here comes Austin Dillon with help from Kevin Harvick. Well, it used to be help. Now Kevin says, "I need that spot."
Mark Martin, Parker Kligerman, Austin Dillon, Johnny Sauter, Kevin Harvick.
Oh, Sauter sideways!
Hangs on. Does he? Sliding into the outside. And now to the inside. He's going to hit the wall. He does just kiss the inside wall. The 4th caution comes out.
He was
We
side
got
by
contact,
side.
but I can't see him. He's hidden behind the motorhome.
With Miguel Paludo.
On my own, guys. Hit the wall with the right front. Flat tires.
Got to be really careful to not do any more damage with those flat tires.
Bigger picture. Austin Dillon took the point lead away from Johnny Sauter after Pocono. Now, Sauter was running right behind him on the racetrack. This is going to back him up quite a few positions.
Did you hear how violent that sounds, Rick, with those tires flapping underneath the truck? They can tear it all to pieces. You can see Johnny, he's down on the inside of Miguel Paludo. He's just going to get loose. Phil takes the air off the side of that truck and around. If he could have clipped the wall with that right rear, it might have straightened him back up, but he just got away from him.
See the tires blowing out there before he even got to the inside wall.
Watch how many times Johnny's driving this thing. He's going to the brakes. He's off the brakes. He thinks he can roll. No, I can't. I got to stay on the brakes. I'm going to hit the wall. So he was giving it all he had, but just couldn't keep it off the wall.
So Sauter brings out the 4th caution of the day.
And there's the damage from that flat tire on the right front corner.
Big damage. You take a look at how it just happened. Trying to race his way back onto pit road to get those tires fixed. Well, they do the damage to the right front fender. Mark Martin out in front here in Michigan.
Next week, the Camping World Truck Series visits the Bristol Motor Speedway, the world's fastest half mile. Last year, Kyle Busch started his historic 3-win weekend in a truck. Can he pull it off again? Dillon, Sauter, and Peters will be looking to stop him and gain some ground on the point standings. Chris Devoda hosts the setup starting at 7:30 p.m. Eastern, followed by flag-to-flag coverage, only on Speed.
Also, the NASCAR Modified Series and the Southern Modified Series will be at Bristol. That getting things kicked off at 6 p.m. So a big, big day. That's Wednesday. Don't forget, Wednesday night racing in Bristol. Herming.
Yeah, Johnny Sauter, Rick, has been on pit road 3 different times since he spun on the racetrack. They got tires on the first time by. The next 2 times was repairs to the nose of that car. The right front still has significant damage. They've done all they can with it, but not going to be anywhere close to 100%. Also, Johnny has reported the toe end has been knocked off a little bit. They have not had a chance to address that yet. So, ruining the day of Johnny Sauter. Greg?
Pardon me, the 29 came on the radio and said, guys, you must not have filled up my water bottle. I only got a couple of sips and it's really hot in here. His crew chief Jeff came on the radio and said, if you get out front, the air coming in your window will cool you right off.
I'll tell you what Dale Earnhardt would tell you if you said that. Shut up and drive, you sissy. There's 10 laps to go. We're going to win this race. I don't want to hear about it.
Green flag, green flag.
Green flag back in the air. Mark Martin, Parker Kligerman, 1-2 as they cross the stripe.
Well, look at that horsepower from that Dodge motor on the inside. Pulled dead even with Mark Martin. How about Harvick on the inside?
Rewind for the lead. Harvick to the inside. Trying to take it away. He does.
Look at Kligerman. He's going to lean on. Oh! Yes, I knew that was happening.
Parker Kligerman slides, hits the 32, catches the
Austin
Dillon in the 3.
Matt Crafton with some damage with the 88.
He clobbered Mark Martin. Crafton did. That's Dakota Armstrong down on the bottom. Johnny Sauter.
Oh, and right into the back of the 3. Parker Kligerman can't see. He ran right into the back of the 3.
Johnny Sauter's thinking, wow, that's a big change.
Now Johnny Sauter more than likely is going to finish ahead of Austin Dillon.
Kligerman just couldn't hold it down there, Phil. Looked just like what Johnny Sauter was faced with a minute ago.
Unbelievable.
Parker Kligerman racing for position. Gets sideways. Catches the 32. Mark Martin spins. They catch the 3 of Austin Dillon into the wall. Goes Dillon, and Huge damage as well. The 88 of Crafton, right front.
And just got the lucky dog, got back on the lead lap.
Dakota Armstrong, what a terrible day for Thor Sport Racing. All three trucks have damage.
Yeah, but Johnny Sauter just become the best one of the three, and he's the one that's racing for a championship. Watch Parker Kligerman. He just gets loose right there the first time, but he doesn't give it up, Phil. He tried to stay in the gas, and he turns he and Mark Martin around, taking Austin Dillon with him.
Yeah, what a tough break for Austin Dillon. Mark Martin, he got punted by the 88 of Matt Crafton. You'd mentioned that before.
Look at Johnny Sauter sneaking right through the middle of all that mess, going by point leader Austin Dillon.
And then Parker Kligerman, he can't see. He runs right into the back of the three.
Trying to get back to pit road, and does some more serious damage to that 29 truck.
Probably not the best idea to mat it when you can't see.
Yeah. There's another view. You see him get loose and then have to chase it. Wiggles, just makes contact with the left rear quarter panel of Mark's truck.
Look at the job that Joey Coulter does, slipping through with Justin Lofton. Both those cats, a great job getting through at the bottom of the track. Now let's watch Kligerman here.
He can see to the left. That's all he could see.
Yeah.
Couldn't see in front of him.
He should have got over to the left.
Austin Dillon with nowhere to go, got caught up against the fence by the 29 of Kligerman. Watch him get loose and chases it up the hill. Just right dead in front of Austin.
Nowhere to go for the three of Austin Dillon. He gets caught up and into the wall.
Watch out of the back window what's coming, Rick.
It's not over yet. Brendan Gaughan goes by. Here comes Parker. Parker's going to nail the throttle.
I mean, you almost have to think maybe Austin wasn't even looking in his mirror. He's just trying to make his way back to the pit.
It's not over.
Yeah, he didn't.
Yeah,
he had
no idea.
Had no idea that that three truck was there of Austin Dillon.
Let's watch Austin Dillon here from the restart. He is in perfect position. He thinks, I'm going to push Martin. We've got that 29 trapped at the bottom. This is going to be a chance for me to grab second and maybe a win. A very fast truck. He pulls up on the back of Martin, doing exactly everything he's supposed to do.
See Kevin Harvick out there.
But at this point, he's stuck. There's nowhere to go.
He barely had time to let off the gas. That was about all the time he had.
Austin Dillon out of the truck. Let's go to Ray.
Well, guys, we're going to catch up with Austin here in just a second. When he came to pit road, he was trying to get in, and Mark Martin's truck was actually in the pit area, and he wasn't able to get there. Austin, your vantage point from what happened on the racetrack, were you able to see anything?
Yeah, I watched it. Parker, I knew it was going to wreck. I should have lifted. Parker's done it at Dover. This is the second time. He just got to learn the truck. You can't go like that when you're three wide. I mean, you got to lift. Somebody's going to, and I don't know, the right side here, you got to know when you're going to get loose. Watch, he gets loose there for like 3 times and he's gone. I don't know. It's part of racing. I'm just mad because we had a fast truck. Part of it. Thanks to Bass Pro Shops. We'll get them next week at Bristol.
Okay, so Austin Dillon apparently done. As he came to pit road trying to get to his pit stall, he said the motor just quit, and they are going to haul this thing off in a wrecker, and it appears they are done for the day. Ernie, what's happening on your end?
Well, the benefactor in some of this may be Johnny Sauter, who was in the back of the pack based on multiple pit stops the last time we had a caution. This not only gives them a chance to make up some spots from the trucks that crashed on the racetrack, but gives them more time to work. You can see a lot of work going on the right front. That right front tire coming off of that truck really ruining that fender on the right front. So not only are they gaining a lot of positions, they're also enabling themselves to do a little more work on this truck. And a top 10 is not out of the question for Johnny Sauter.
Definitely not. Johnny Sauter, potentially, yeah.
It's about all that's left, right?
Yeah, pretty amazing that he could be battling for a top 10 position. Currently scored 15th. This is the reason for our most recent caution.
That won't work. Can't force it. He tried to force it and got sideways.
We saw it happen before. Austin mentioned it back at Dover for Parker Kligerman.
Kevin Harvick now in front of the field at Michigan. We've got less than 7 laps to go. The NASCAR Camping World Truck Series on Speed is brought to you by Camping World RV Sales. The best selection and best values on travel trailers guaranteed. And by Just for Men, Mustache and Beard. Keep your edge. 6 laps to go. When the trucks get to the stripe, it'll be 5 remaining.
We're going green, baby.
Kevin Harvick out in front. Miguel Paludo running second. Timothy Peters third. Nelson Piquet Jr. and James Buescher.
And if history repeats itself, when we get to turn 1, Timothy Peters is going to be lead. The last 2 restarts, the dude running third has jumped on the inside and made the pass getting in the one. That's how Harvick got the lead.
We talk about potential first-time winners. How about these 2 guys from Brazil? Nelson Piquet Jr. has already had a second. Miguel Paludo 2 fourths this year, and they're running right now up in the top 4.
Yeah, and we saw Paludo pass Kevin Harvick early in the race. Remember, Kevin gave him a shove down the back straightaway after that pass. So Miguel's got the best truck maybe he's had all year, and he's set in the best position he's ever been in to win one of these things.
Great opportunity for the 7 and the 8 truck. How about Timothy Peters? You mentioned on the restart. The guy running third has had a great run going into turn number 1. It's all coming down to this. 5 laps of racing to go from Michigan.
Remember, that's Harvick's teammate behind him, Piquet.
Kevin Harvick, Miguel Paludo, 1 and 2 across the stripe. Green flag back in the air.
There goes Ron Hornaday, jumps to the inside of Coulter to make it 3 wide, 4 rows back.
Well, Miguel Paludo's wife's going to have a baby if he wins this race, and she's not going to wait for him either.
She's going to have a baby if he doesn't win this race. But yes, it might happen a little sooner. Up the racetrack goes the 17. He's hanging on to it as Miguel Paludo stays right on the door of Kevin Harvick.
Look at Piquet giving Harvick that shove to get him down the back straightaway. Paludo's hanging tough on the bottom, though.
Miguel Paludo goes down to the low line of the racetrack. Harvick running right through the middle.
Miguel Paludo's hanging tough there. Now he's going to duck in behind Harvick.
I like ducking in behind him, seeing if maybe we can set him up and get on the outside of him. There isn't going to be much away. You're going to clear Kevin on the bottom.
Oh, Joey Coulter blows a left rear tire.
The tire goes out on the 22 as he crossed the stripe, and that brings the caution out once again.
Back out of it.
There is debris on the racetrack. It happened right in front of the flag stand.
Ooh, this is good stuff.
Joey got some damage there somewhere, and that's what caused that left rear tire to blow out.
Left rear tire just expired right as it crossed the stripe. Take another look.
See all the damage there. He feels something right there. He slowed down. See Brendan Gaughan go around him. That tire is deflating right now. And eventually it loses all its air and comes apart.
Tears apart. Debris on the racetrack. The caution comes out for the 6th time. They'll clean it up. Line them back up. Boy, this is going to be great. Racing Electronics is offering speed viewers a year-long inside deal. Reserve your next race scanner or fan view online for any NASCAR race and save $10. Visit speed.com/deals and click on the Racing Electronics banner for more information. Welcome back to the VFW 200. Aaron's lucky dog, amazingly enough, goes to the 5 of Todd Bodine. What a up and down day he has had.
What well-deserved recipients of the Aaron's lucky dog we've had today. Joey Coulter slid through the grass, got a lap down, got it back, and was contending for a top 5 finish when it all went bad for him on this last restart. Now Todd Bodine with a chance to get back in this show.
All right, guys, I got to ask you a question. Who do you think has kept their edge in this race? We want to look at the Just for Men Mustache and Beard. Keep your edge.
I think that team of Johnny Sauter.
Got to be Johnny Sauter.
But let's give it to his team, because they're the ones that kept him in this thing.
Here's a situation that caused it. See him get on the inside of Miguel Paludo, lost the back end of that truck, got loose, made contact with the inside wall, trying to get back to pit road, blew out that right front tire, damaged that right front fender. His guys have made some quick work there. You see all the tape, the X-Flex on the front of that truck.
This is what I like, this rear quarter panel they built.
This flat-sided rear quarter panel looks like an old dirt car.
It's a wing. They put a wing on it.
And Johnny Sauter still on the lead lap. Right now being shown in the 13th position, Rick.
Just for Men, Mustache and Beard, keep your edge. And obviously with a big team effort, they are still going to be your points leader when they leave this racetrack, and his teammate not so much. Ray.
Well, Rick, just to add on that, Matt Crafton came in here just 37 points out in 6th place, but the damage to the right front was too much. He said he went back to the racetrack and could not maintain minimum speed, so they've got a lot of work to do on that thing. Bud Haefele said, well, we'll just take her to the garage. There's no sense staying out there and tearing it up worse.
So the carnage continues from Michigan International Speedway. Attrition could win this race.
Well, we talk about the very beginning how this racetrack really has a lot of green flag racing. We saw some green flag racing, saw some green flag pit stops, but man, have we seen the carnage though. Look, looks like it's there's not even a third of the trucks left on the racetrack. Unbelievable.
It's been a very tough day for quite a few teams.
Looks like a heat race.
It does.
We're getting ready for a heat race. This will be our first attempt at a green-white checkered finish.
Well, you just know these guys are so desperate. They want to win, and that's why you see these cautions. You have a caution, you bunch them up, and cautions breed cautions. You wind up with trucks that look like this, ones that have spun out and ones that have crashed. And I can't wait again to watch these guys bolt down into turn 1, Rick. You're going to see Nelson Piquet Jr., who has never won a race before, try to get around his fellow countryman who's sitting beside his car owner. Nelson's got a lot of stuff to consider here.
And there's no guarantee that this is going to be our only attempt at a green-white checker.
We do have the opportunity for 3 attempts at a green-white checker finish. Pace truck, Randy Kaiser driving that. Will pull it on to the pit road. Kevin Harvick, Miguel Paludo making up row number 1. Green flag goes back in the air.
Harvick doesn't have his teammate behind him anymore. He has Timothy Peters. He may not be as nice. Here comes Jason White, pulls to the inside.
3 wide entering turn number 1. Harvick with the lead. Timothy Peters on the outside trying to take second away from Miguel Paludo.
Great break by Harvick. He was able to get out on those guys.
We have teammates now lined up in second, third. Timothy Peters looks to the outside of Harvick.
Going into turn number 3. Here comes Nelson Piquet Jr. in the 8, looking to the inside of the 7 of Miguel Paludo. He has to check up. Timothy Peters has the momentum on the high side. Coming out of turn number 4. White flag in the air. 1 to go for Kevin Harvick.
Can Peters get a run on him? Looks like he's got a run, Phil.
Sure does. Kevin Harvick is using that mirror.
Timothy Peters looking to the outside. Kevin Harvick ducks down low.
He's up there, clear high. Clear high, clear about 2.
Piquet got a little bit loose underneath Paludo. He held on to it.
And sideways goes Miguel Paludo. And now Nelson Piquet. He's going to hit the wall on the inside. Hard into the inside wall on this final lap. They continue to race. Green flag still out as Nelson Piquet Jr.'s hit the inside wall. Kevin Harvick in front of Timothy Peters coming out of turn number 4. Does Peters have a big enough run to get him? The caution and the checkered flag will fly.
Checker flag.
Kevin Harvick will win again in the Camping World Truck Series.
Good job. It wasn't pretty, but we did what we had to do.
2 in a row for Kevin Harvick.
Wasn't pretty, but we did what we had to do, and you got to give it up for Kevin Harvick. Complained about that truck being violently loose all throughout the first half of the race. He and Bruce Cook, the team got together. They figured out the adjustments they wanted to make, and those adjustments took them straight to victory lane.
See Nelson Piquet Jr. How many times, Michael, did we see it today? We've seen it forever. When these trucks get on the inside of one another, they lose the air off that spoiler. Same thing happened right here.
It about happened to him down in turn 3. He made a mistake down there, got in a little bit hot, got sideways down there, saved the truck. But when he came off turn 2, coming back for the checker, he just left his foot in it and wasn't able to save it.
Take a look at what happened. This is working their way out of turn 2.
See, Paludo pulls to the outside. You see right now he's in a 4-wheel drift. He gets loose. He's loose. He makes a little bit of contact, but the damage is done. What a nice job by Buescher getting by on the inside.
Slamming into the wall there is Nelson Piquet Jr. Doesn't clip the 7, at least to get him turned completely around. The 7's able to continue on. Paludo ends up 3rd in this race.
And what a close call for James Buescher. Close call for Paludo, obviously. Watch David Starr here, the 81 truck on the outside. He's right behind this. He said, where's he going to go?
He had to check up. David Starr ends up 5th in this race.
Boy, James Buescher was the lucky one, wasn't he? If there's just a foot difference and he turns James Buescher right back up in the middle of all that traffic.
Ray, the winning crew chief's got to be happy about this one.
He is. He's very happy. 3rd career win for Bruce Cook. And Kevin came on radio, said that wasn't a pretty win, but we'll take him. Your thoughts?
No, it wasn't a pretty win, but we'll take him how we can get him. We were off a little bit today, and heads up for a driver keeping his head in the game and my team keeping their head in the game, and we just fought hard and came back, and breaks went our way. And a great day, great win. I thank my team and Kevin Delaney for everything they do and everything he does driving that truck, but straight from tap out and everybody else.
All right. Harvick was pretty frustrated after that last round of pit stops. I have a feeling he'll have a little different attitude when we get to victory lane.
He's making his way to victory lane. Smiles for Delana Harvick as she will make her way to victory lane. 11th career win in his 111th start in the Camping World Truck Series. Kevin Harvick heads back to victory lane. Welcome back to VFW 200 in the books. Kevin Harvick is in victory lane. Let's go there now.
Well, this truck went to victory lane in Pocono, and Kevin Harvick wasn't planning on bringing it to this racetrack. Actually, they had another one back at the shop already logoed up. And Happy Harvick got on the radio, told his crew chief, Bruce Cook, we're taking this one back. We thought it was going to be an aero disadvantage, Kevin, but you said on the long run this truck would be the right one. I guess you made the right choice.
Yeah, it was ugly. We had a little bit of trouble on pit road, and we were way too loose to start the race. But Tap Out Chevrolet guys did a great job. Just got to thank everybody from Hunt Brothers and Ream, champion on the truck this week, and everybody else who helps the Chevrolet team. So a lot of fun to win here in Michigan. And I didn't think we had the truck to do it, but the tire strategy, we got a little lucky on that caution come out. We had better tires than everybody, and we were able to get underneath Mark and those guys down there. But, man, these things are fun to race. You can't get away from anybody, so you wind up side by side all the time, and a lot of drafting, but a lot of fun.
All right, I heard you saying loose, loose, loose. Then you dove to the inside and went 3 wide to get the pass done.
Yeah, that last stop we didn't fill it all the way up with gas, just hoping that we could get some nose weight in the truck there, and it was a lot easier to manage. And then those last restarts there, I didn't have to let off the mat, so it worked out good.
You running Bristol?
Yes, sir. I'll be there Wednesday night.
All right, 2 in a row for Harvick, and guess what? We'll see him next Wednesday. Hermie?
Well, that's James Busher catching up. You just got the word from NASCAR. You have moved up to 2nd in points, and up and down day for you guys. You guys struggled a little bit at the beginning, but got it right at the end, and you closed off with a couple good restarts.
Yeah, we definitely struggled in the beginning, to say the least. We way back in 20th, first half of the race, and they were talking about the leader. They're telling me where the leader is at the line. That's not good. That means he's catching me to lap me. So, that long green flag run, we just stayed consistent. I was fighting a loose truck most of the day. Just got it going faster at the end. We tightened it up every pit stop. Pit stops were great. Kept getting track position, and when there finally was a caution, I was right inside the top 10. I had no idea how, but we were there, and we had gotten the truck a little better. And if we were restarting on the outside, then we were able to go forward. So that restart, the second to last restart, when I was on the inside, I lost a couple spots, but then restarting 8th there at the end for the green-white checker, we were able to go all the way up to 4th. And I got really close to the 8 truck when he spun off 2 on the last lap there. He caught my right rear when I was down on the apron trying to go around him, and almost got caught up in that wreck, but we stayed out of trouble and had a really good day for XI Batteries. Great clips, everybody, Turner Motorsports.
That's James Busher. A lot of momentum on this team, up to 2nd in points with even missing a race, Rick. Very impressive.
Very impressive. It's the 7th top 5 finish for that young man, James Busher. And how about this one? 111 starts in the Truck Series, and now his 11th career win, and he's got 2 in a row. Welcome back to Michigan International Speedway. Overcast skies now. They've outran the rain, which we're hearing is just a few miles to the west of here. Let's go down to Hermie.
With Timothy Peters, where did you come from to finish 2nd, and a great day for you and your teammate?
Yeah, it definitely was a great day. Can't say enough about the guys on this. I'm sorry, I got choked on my water. Can't say enough about Crescent Hand Tools Toyota Tundra. Red Horse Racing team did a great job on pit road. We were just a little too loose on the start. We went just a little too far and got a little too tight. So we had a run on the 2 down the back, but he could cut through the center better than we could with our Tundra. So great points day. How about on Miguel? Great run for him and the Stemco Duraline Tundra too as well. So Apex family of brands on the deck lid. Tom Deloach gave me an awesome opportunity. Doesn't get any better than this.
It's a new truck for these guys this weekend. He comes home second.
Take a look at the Ford point standings. Again, after 15 races, Johnny Sauter takes the lead back because of Austin Dillon's problems on the racetrack. Now Dillon 20 points back. James Buescher has moved into second, and we always have to put the asterisk beside James Buescher because he didn't race at Phoenix.
Well, we talked about it during our setup show and how much that meant, and the fact that they just felt like they weren't fast enough. But man, I'm sure they would like those 20 or 30 points potentially they could have got at Phoenix right about now.
You got that right. What a great battle. Timothy Peters has gotten up in the middle of all that mix as well. So the point championship is going to be fun to follow over the next few races, huh?
Herbie talked to one of the Red Horse Racing drivers. Let's hear from the other one.
Miguel Paludo, first of all, first things first, I see you on the phone. Any news to report on the baby front yet?
You know, not yet. She just said, be calm because I'm fine. You know, I'll be waiting for you.
Talk about this race. Great run for you. This team is really starting to come into your own, and you're learning how to finish these races.
You're right. I'm being really patient, saving my stuff to the end. And today was a great day for us. You know, we had an awesome truck. It's the same truck I used in Dover, a new body. And these guys did great. You know, we did small adjustments. I was on the long runs a little bit snug, and then I was perfect. So, you know, couldn't get Harvick on the second restart, but I learned a lot with him. So really proud of my guys. Thank you to the line Toyota Tundra. And we just need to keep moving forward. Bristol on Wednesday is my first racetrack that I've been to last year. So let's keep digging.
That's Miguel Paludo. Team's got a lot of momentum right now. He comes home third.
Thanks, Harvey. We want to take one more look at the Ford point standings. We had said that Austin Dillon dropped back quite a bit. Not that far. Just 8 points back is Austin Dillon. Again, James Buescher 5 back from the lead.
And you mentioned Timothy Peters making his way into this point battle. Only 12 points behind right now.
What about our buddy Cole Witt there, 5th in the points? He survived this day in a great fashion after having an accident early in the going, and then still fights his way back to a 10th place finish, preserving those all precious points, keeping him in that top 5.
Seven drivers potentially could leave Bristol with a point lead.
Still within one race, 7 drivers looking for the championship the 2011 season. But this battle was won by Kevin Harvick here in Michigan. Welcome back. VFW 200 won by Kevin Harvick today, the guy who battled through it all and really had a tough day, but ended up holding on to the points lead is Johnny Sauter. He's with Ray.
Well, the roller coaster ride continues for Johnny Sauter. Interesting day today, but somehow, guess what? You come back out with the point lead.
Yeah, I'm not really too concerned about that right now. Just disappointed. You know, I spun out again all by myself, so just you know, made some poor choices in traffic, and not the way we wanted to end with our Safe Auto U-Coated truck. But I don't know. I wrecked trucks, so just got to keep digging, and I got to quit making mistakes.
All right, still 10 races to go. Johnny Sauter back on top.
Take a look at our Camping World unofficial results. Harvick again on top. Chevrolet winning this one. The battle with the Toyotas, though, Timothy Peters and Miguel Paludo finishing second, third.
Yeah, another top 5 for James Buescher. What a consistent season he's had. David Starr with another great top 5. How about Jay White putting all the bad luck of the last couple of races behind him with a 6th place run?
And 8th and 10th there, Colin Brown and Cole Witt both had crashes and still came back to finish in the top 10. So that was a great job by their team, along with Todd Bodine and Johnny Sauter there in 12th and 13th. The guys on pit road getting it done for those drivers.
Not the look of a normal Michigan race. Normally we see very few caution flags, very few trucks that are scarred up, and we had most of them scarred up in this race.
A bunch of them on this page. The list of outs on the right side of your screen there. Matt Crafton on the top of that list. Austin Dillon. I mean, these names are guys you would normally see up in the front, but problems for a lot of drivers, including Parker Kligerman. Let's hear from him. He's with Hermie.
Well, Parker Kligerman, you and I have talked several times this year under some happy circumstances. Bad news is you got a wreck. Good news is you had a fast truck all weekend. Tell us about the restart, and we'll put you in trouble.
Well, we'll just start off, you know, these guys in the BKR Cooper Standard Ram team have just did an awesome job this weekend. We were fast right off the hauler, fast in qualifying, fast everywhere, fast in the race, had a great race going, good strategy, knew it'd pan out, was going on that race. If Mark Martin there was learning a lot from him, obviously great to race a veteran like Mark Martin, thought I could beat him. You know, he was doing some interesting things in terms of holding the wide arc, so I couldn't get my outside line, so I was learning how to do that, learning some ways to get around them, and it was upset to see that caution. But at the same point, we also had a little bit of transmission trouble, but we got that back in the second, so we got a good restart there. And, I was coming up there, and I knew the 2 was going to go on us. He had great tires. He was fast, And when he got by us, I was just saying, okay, we're just going to hold on the second here, Mark. Or when he started to get a run, I said, all right, I just need to hold on the third. But as he got a run, it started to suck me around, and the air on these trucks is so bad that, you just, when it starts to go, you start to back off and pedal it, trying to just save it. At that point, you're just saying, I just want to get to the corner. And it happens, all of a sudden you're going, and at that point it just stuck when it got finally around me, went to the right, took him out, took out a lot of good trucks. I feel terrible for everyone involved. Cooper Standard especially, a new sponsor in this sport is big, and really sad to end it like that for them. I'll say that I'm also sad for Austin Dillon. I ran into him afterwards, and I had no brakes, and I couldn't see afterwards. So I'm really, I'm sorry to him. He came up to me and I said, man, I couldn't see. I had no idea what was going on. I was trying to tell guys I can't see anything. So I'm sorry about that, and I'm just sorry for Brad and Roger Penske and everyone that makes this possible. And hopefully, as a young driver, hopefully they'll give me another chance. But I know young drivers don't get a lot of chances in the sport right now, so a little upset with this.
This guy has proven his worth in his series, and he's looking forward to getting back on the track. The good news is a quick turnaround this week, Wednesday night at Bristol.
Had a good setup. Bristol Motor Speedway, the next stop for the Camping World Truck Series. It's the O'Reilly 200, a Wednesday night race. That one getting underway at 7:30. The precursor to that will be the modified race and the Southern modified race there at Bristol.
We talk about this racetrack and how wide it is and how much room we have. Polar opposite when we get to Bristol.
Yeah, and how well did it work out here with all that room?
Not all that great.
There'll be more bumping and banging. Let's go back down to Hermie.
Well, David Starr, you guys just keep reeling off top 5 and top 10 finishes. Good run for you guys today.
Well, first of all, I want to say hi to my wife, Kim, and my little boy, David Starr Jr., back at home in Dallas. Our Zachary Toyota Tundra wasn't very good when the race started, and, man, you got to run wide open here at Michigan. It's a momentum track, and I'd run in there deep and get out of the gas a little bit and turn the wheel, and it just snap out from underneath us. And Jason Miller, Matt Faulkner, my engineer, they just kept working on it, and right there that last pit stop, they did a couple of changes, and, man, that thing came alive. And what an awesome day for us. Just like to thank all the Zachary folks and all the Chasco people, Allegro people, all the people been helping us this year. And we're excited, just getting better and better every week. And that was a great race for the fans. Pretty awesome.
And you got to head to Bristol Wednesday night. Everybody loves going to Bristol, and your team is going to that race with a lot of momentum.
No doubt about it. And Bristol's awesome. Anywhere the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series goes, we put on a heck of a show for these fans. And Bristol will be no different. And looking forward to getting there. Can't wait.
It's going to be fun for us, too. Speed will be in Bristol on Wednesday night.
Thanks, Harvick. Kevin Harvick wins it. This is the 4th track now. He's won in all 3 series. So a very impressive performance by Harvick. Thanks.
Next week, the Camping World Truck Series visits the Bristol Motor Speedway, the world's fastest half-mile. Last year, Kyle Busch started his historic 3-win weekend in a truck. Can he pull it off again? Dillon, Sauter, and Peters will be looking to stop him and gain some ground on the point standings. Krista Boda hosts the setup starting at 7:30 p.m. Eastern, followed by flag-to-flag coverage, only on Speed.